how was how did cool sculpting go? I just signed up for it. I'm getting mine on Tuesday.
All right.
She was super like, you're a perfect candidate for it because she was like, this is not for. I had to do a Zoom consultation.
Yeah.
Like this is funny, dog. So I literally, I'm scrolling on Instagram this morning. It's like 9 in the morning, right? I just wake up. I was gonna go on tea time, but I missed my tea time. I was like, fuck it. So I just scroll. I wake up scrolling on Instagram, and the little cool sculpting ad comes across my screen. Click it. There's like, fill this out, have a consultation. I was like, okay, cool, filled it out. Close it. Not 20 seconds later, I get a call from them. I was like, yo, that's fucking insane. And it was like, hey, would you like a consultation? And I was like, yo, I literally just closed the Safari tab. That's crazy. And I was like, yeah, we work fast, whatever. Yeah, so I did it. And then right as soon as I done talking to her, she's like, okay, hop on Zoom meeting. And it was like, boom, boom, boom. I was like, God damn. So, but it was dope because she was like explaining how I had to do a Zoom meeting. I had to lift up my shirt and shit.
Yeah.
I had to show them like what they were, what I had. And she was like, oh, you're a perfect candidate for this. She said, a lot of people don't like it because it's not like liposuction. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's a lifestyle change. So like, she said it's somebody who's like 10 to 20 pounds away from their target weight, and it freezes those cells and drains through the lymphatic system. And so she was like, you're a perfect candidate. So
yeah,
I'm excited about it. We'll see what happens. I don't know.
That's pretty similar to what I experienced, except mine was in person, and I went to Sperling Dermatology, who's like, they're the people that work with Joey and Pat. Mm-hmm. And I think they're doing like all sorts of stuff for everybody in this office. Anyways, I went in and they looked at my stomach. They took like pictures of my stomach and measured my stomach and shit. And they kind of said the same thing. They were like, yeah, we think that you'd be a good fit for cool sculpting. Now, I'm a little bit concerned that maybe they just say that to everybody, because my body and Arian's body are not, I don't think they're very similar. I'm in much better shape than Arian, but
obviously
but if they say that we're both good candidates, I think they'd probably say like anybody's. But they kind of told me the same thing, which was,
no, you're not. I wouldn't say you're fat. I just say you're chubby. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're just a little chubby.
I'm chubby now.
I mean, you're a little puffy on the mid. I'm a little puffy on the midsection. That's why I'm doing this.
Chubby's kind of cute. I'll take chubby.
Yeah.
I'll take chubby.
Yeah, yeah.
So I've got like it's like a little belt of fat that exists just around my midsection, just like right above the belt line. And they're like, yeah, that's perfect. We're just going to target these areas. So they froze them. It takes like 30 minutes per area, and they had to do like 3 different areas across my stomach. So here's the good and the bad. The good is I'm already seeing some results from it, and I got it in like late January. The bad is I have to get another session done. They say that the second session is really when you see most of the gains from it. So I'm going to get another session done. But the first time that I did it, they put it on there for 30 seconds and then they take it off, and it hurts because they like massage it right afterwards. And when they massage it, it's just a bunch of like frozen fat cells that they're pushing into. That shit hurts bad. And they do it for about 90 seconds each time. Yeah,
wait, does it actually feel like it's frozen, like frozen meat?
No, your stomach kind of goes numb. The area goes numb, so you don't really you don't feel the skin. Like if I were to poke it, I couldn't feel it. But then you start massaging it, and that shit hurts bad.
It's like shards of glass.
It's bad, yeah. And then so they tell you that you have to do that to yourself twice a day for 2 minutes each time. After you get the procedure done. So it's just like rubbing my belly and like pressing my belly for 2 minutes a day. And it hurts. Every time that I do that, it hurts. And the other bad part is it swells up right afterwards. So for like the first 2 weeks, maybe week and a half after I got the procedure done, I was way fatter than I was before. Like there were some pictures that came out of me, and I was like wearing a tight-ish shirt, and I've got this massive, massive beer belly that wasn't there like 2 days before. Mm-hmm. But it's because it swells up. It's like your body's, it's the immune response or whatever it is, the inflammatory response. And so that part, the part that you get done will swell up for a little bit. It'll stay swollen for a couple weeks. And then as mine has started to go away, the swelling, I've definitely lost some of that fat that I had there before. So I'd say I probably lost about 4 to 5 pounds of fat, maybe.
What? That's a lot.
or 45 pounds. I look like 45 pounds skinnier on my waist right now, and then I'm going to get it done again, and then my friend, that's when we have Final Four abs. It's been a long road. I've been working real hard.
Yeah. We've been pushing it back. We've been doing tomorrow abs. You know what I mean? But I finally locked in. I'm excited to see your progress. I've already seen progress. I'm already way slimmer. I think this is just gonna be the icing on the cake to where I go from he takes care of himself to damn. Wouldn't mind if I had a little bit of that though.
Yeah, I mean, Arian, you're gonna look. It's not gonna be fair if Arian's got a 6-pack.
It is. It's going to be very fair.
It's not fair at all. I
haven't had one for like 7 years. 7 years.
Yeah,
so.
you know what? I think it's fine. It's not weird if you have a 6-pack. If I got a 6-pack, it would be very weird because if you get a 6-pack for the first time in your life and you're 38 years old, that's weird. You're like, that guy just got a divorce. That's what you think.
Oh, so your lady's like, well, what are you doing this for? It's just a podcast thing, babe. I swear.
If you get a 6-pack for the first time when you're 40 years old and you're in a relationship, the other person in the relationship has every right to question why you're doing that.
I agree with that. And you have every right to answer honestly. I need to feel better about myself.
Help me love me.
Help me love me. Help me. Yeah, but no, I think if you get abs, our viewership will grow exponentially.
YouTube will. That's
what I'm saying.
We'll do some shirtless podcasts.
Oh yeah, summertime beach pod with abs. Come on, cuz this is money.
We can go to the playpen in Chicago, like be on a boat.
What's a playpen?
It's like
you're gonna have to explain all these weird Midwest traditions to me.
That's just a Chicago thing. It's like where everyone puts their boats and you jump from boat to boat and you
tie up.
Yep, fleets.
Okay.
As you guys were talking about today in front of my
Yeah,
team.
nice.
That's where the fleets go, is in the playpen.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm in.
I got a hookup, don't worry about it.
I don't need to be I'm not greedy. I don't need a 6-pack. Give me a 4-pack.
Or the line and then the V.
Yeah, the V might be too late.
Bonk. Right?
It might be it's a bonk. It might be too late for the V.
No. The V has a lot to do with hip flexors. So one thing, I've always had the V. That shit is still there actually. But that's because I've always worked out my hip flexors like really, really good. And it works out that lower abdomen too, that one on top of the junk. Like that all kind of works together. And so I've always kind of had those. Those ain't going nowhere.
Big T, have you ever had abs?
What do you think?
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe when you were like a lowercase T.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had one ab?
I don't know, dude.
You okay, Big T?
Yeah, this seems like a moronic line of questioning.
Okay. I love Big T that he just puts us in line. You
don't like ab talk?
I just don't get what we're doing here.
We're talking about abs.
No shit.
How do you not get that?
I don't think you're following what. I don't think you're smelling what I'm cooking.
It's genetic, guys.
Big T's not. He's not down for the ab talk.
Look,
Big T's a no nonsense guy, and this is nonsense. We're doing nonsense again.
Well, I would say 70% of this podcast is nonsense. No.
Yeah, true. So let's bring it back to some yes sense. If that's a word. I saw we tweeted out a giant picture of Billy. I think labeled it a Godzilla egg.
Look, we're spicing up the macrodosing Twitter. I realize that much of my Twitter algorithm gets me a lot of conspiracy stuff, and we just got to get these out to the macrodosians. So we're going to be posting a lot of weird stuff from different parts of the internet, and something washed up on the shores of Japan, and it looks just like a big white ball. And people are asking, is it a UFO? Is it a Godzilla egg? Or is it just a buoy?
I've got another take, and I've done zero research on this, but it might be whale puke. You guys know about?
I'm looking at it.
You guys know about whale puke?
I don't know enough about whale puke. No.
Whale puke is some of the most valuable stuff that you can find on Earth. It really is, because they use whale puke to make perfume and cologne. That's where they get the scent from. It's from whale puke. So the stuff that Jerry Fragrance sprays on himself and says this will make your grandmother wet, that's whale puke. straight up. And I don't know what it is about whales that makes their puke smell so good. I've done zero research into it, but that to me looks like a giant ball of whale puke.
Jerry Fragrance had a video for the ages. Other night.
I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about
He
it.
literally pitched a tent on Twitter.
It's called ambergris.
Yeah.
It's called ambergris. That's what's inside the whale's stomach, and it's something that they puke up, and it's produced by sperm whales, and then they turn it into cologne and perfume.
Ambergris looks a lot different though. Ambergris is kind of like a whale pearl in a way, but it's not round.
Wait, hold on. I'm getting a fact check here for you, bro.
Like it's not exactly. It's like It's almost like a kidney stone for a whale.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it's not well. It's not
up,
well. It's not well puke. It's not well.
It looks mechanical. The thing that washed up. I think it's either an old World War II mine or just a buoy of some sort. But it's nice to think it could be a UFO.
Well, it's
Solid
not
waxy
flying.
Flammable substance of dull gray and blackish color produced in the digestive system of sperm whales. Freshly produced ambergris, whatever, has a marine fecal odor. It acquires a sweet, earthy scent. As it ages, commonly likened to the fragrance of isopropyl alcohol without the vaporous chemical. Yo, so that's insane. We make perfume and cologne from a digestive system of a whale.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally one of the storylines of Avatar 2.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, they go whale hunting so that people don't age.
But do they hunt the whales to get their puke out, or do they just
No, I don't think
find
so.
the puke?
Yeah,
You gotta find yourself a bulimic whale, and then walk all the way to the bank. Just big laugh on your face. Yeah, I feel like it doesn't make any sense because what whales eat seems like the stinkiest shit ever, right? They eat krill, they eat plankton, they eat encephalopods, and then
Do they
somehow they half digest them, they throw it up, and it becomes the best smelling stuff on earth.
Yo,
I'd like to.
crazy
I mean-
take. So
Look,
you know
Billy.
how we find like all that stuff smelling bad,
Yeah.
but we find our stuff, like our food, smells good to us because of how our nasal scent stuff works. So like good stuff smells good, bad stuff smells bad.
Yeah.
We think our vomit smells bad because it's all the bad stuff. What if whales turn the good stuff into bad stuff for them, but we think it smells like the good stuff?
All right, just walk me through that one more time, Billy. Can
bruh.
you use the word stuff like 33% less frequently? Because I'm trying to find out where you're going, but there's a lot of
Okay.
stuffs.
A lot of stuff.
It's like photosynthesis and cellular respiration. You know how they're just flipped and opposite?
You're somehow making this more confusing right now.
Okay, so it goes in negative, comes out positive.
Okay, so humans, the food goes in positive and then comes out negative.
Right.
Okay,
Whales, it goes in negative, comes out positive.
got it. Okay, all right, so it's flipped.
Exactly.
They eat the stinky stuff, but their body turns the stinky stuff into good smelling stuff.
Into whales, it probably smells terrible.
So if you just ate, if a human ate shit all the time, it would come out smelling better.
Yeah, see, this is where the theory falls apart.
Who knows? But it's just like maybe our olfactory glands are just like that.
Yeah.
That might be a little out there.
Yeah, I don't like this take at all, actually.
Let's move away from it.
Let's move away from it. Let's get into some UFO takes. How about that? Because I do want to know, and I purposely have not been doing any research into what we've recovered out of these UFOs and weather balloons that we shot down. F-22, the balloon killer, I think it's got a 6-0 career record against balloons, which is pretty impressive for a $65 billion aircraft. So I'm curious, Billy, I'm sure that you've seen parts of the internet that I have not seen. What have we found in terms of the wreckage of these things?
The worst part is besides the Chinese balloons that we knew were balloons from a different nation state, nothing for the ones that haven't been found.
Okay.
That we couldn't identify.
I heard
So
that
the ones
I did see one headline that said it might have been like a hobbyist weather balloon, just like somebody that sends up weather balloons for fun, and then they got their shit shot down by an F-22. That's very funny.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I said it was.
But the thing is, those things definitely got ripped to shreds by like the $400,000 missile sent by the jets.
Yeah.
But hey,
How is our defense? I'm still not buying this shit. I'm not buying any of this shit.
Grest.
I'm still not buying it. No, it's just they're being way too like. This is what I don't understand about our government. They know nobody trusts them, right nor left. Nobody trusts the government, and they continue to be secretive about shit they don't need to be secretive about. It's just silly, dog. Like, it's just dumb. Throw the whole shit away.
The problem is, even if they were like radically transparent and they said something that we all were shocked by, most of us would be like, they're just saying that to distract us from something else that's going on.
Sure, some people would do that, but if the wreckage has been in their possession for what? I don't know, a week and a half, 2 weeks now, 3.
Mm-hmm.
You know what it is by now. You know what materials it's made out of. You might not know the origins, but you know what it's made out of. You know what it is. Like, say what it is.
Yeah.
And maybe they have. I haven't looked into it, but I haven't heard it.
Big T, have you paid any attention to the weather balloons and stuff? UFO wreckage?
We've talked about it on here. I've seen them, but
I'm actually more curious to know about your take about Joe Biden went to Ukraine, made a surprise visit to Ukraine.
Of course he did. It's his favorite place.
Ukraine's his favorite place on earth?
Yes.
That's where he gets all his funding.
Sends trillions of our dollars over there, wants to fund their war. Yeah, he loves Ukraine. His son was very instrumental in the organization of that war. They've funded him for years. Yeah, he loves Ukraine.
Wait, you think Hunter Biden started the war in Ukraine?
So
listen,
the gas company.
I want, and for the record, before you start, I agree to a certain extent with the fact that funding a giant war overseas is going to start a lot of problems that we can't see coming right now. I'm not saying, like, obviously, like, Russia is in the wrong. They shouldn't have invaded. We kind of have a duty to protect some of those countries in Europe.
Why?
But funding, because of like the NATO alliance and what it means if he invades one country and just taking over hostile land is not good. But it happens all the time in the world. It happens all the time. And we selectively choose which countries that we're going to fund to defend. Now, that's something that happens at, the geopolitical level of people that have been working in the State Department and diplomacy for, 50, 60 years. But it's fucked up what Putin did, and Ukraine they're the good guys in this situation. But I also agree with the fact that, and it seems to be almost a Republican talking point now, which is funding a war overseas is not always going to lead to the best of outcomes. Wish they would have had that energy for the Iraq war, but they are saying it now. And so I'm saying, like,
I'm about to say, where has that been?
Yeah, it was nowhere. But so I'm just saying this, we can start from an area of common ground where I see that point of view and that perspective, but I don't, unless I just missed out on it entirely, I don't think that Hunter Biden started the war in Ukraine.
I wanna make sure I have all of the facts correct, but
I got some facts.
There's a Ukrainian oligarch who runs the company that Hunter Biden was doing all of his stuff with, who recently he was raided, I think. So I want to make sure I have everything correct, but Hunter Biden has been in huge dealings with a lot of Ukrainian entities that have had a large hand in this war.
He was definitely paid, $800,000 a year? Am I getting that right, that figure, or am I making that one up? 6 figures, at least. He was paid 6 figures consulting for some Ukrainian oil conglomerate. And the speculation is that they were just using that to get close to Joe Biden and the Obama administration when it was happening. Which isn't the most insane sounding thing in the world. I'll be honest. Like, that shit happens all the time.
I mean, a lot of it was Ukraine historically has been one of the most corrupt countries since the fall of the Soviet Union. That's on file. You can look at the New York Times.
This is mainstream media. You can look it up.
No, but seriously,
public information. I agree with you. But the way that you said it's on file.
I know, but like, people are acting like Ukraine's been like the harbinger of freedom, peace, and democracy for years.
Right.
But part of that is their major export is natural resources. But the main problem with that is that because of the market in the area of the world they're in, the market share is totally controlled by Russia. All of the consumers are taking Russian gas. And because of that, they need to find a way to get an avenue into Europe so that they could start supplying Europe with gas. So who are they going to talk to about that? Hunter Biden. And guess what?
Hunter Biden has the key. A crackhead.
No. Well,
and,
Hunter
and
Biden
who's going to
has
get
direct.
and who's going to get that gas across the European continent? A crackhead whoremonger.
I mean, Hunter Biden has direct access to the Biden administration. It's not like Hunter Biden was getting checks from a Kazakh like mineral mine. Like there was plenty of other places he could have been getting money like that, consulting for tons of other countries' energy resources, but he was in Ukraine and, he was right there before the fire started. So do you think he knows how the fire was lit? I mean, it's one of those things like, I know, it sounds ridiculous, but the guy literally dealt
What
with
is
old
this what is this obsession though? I don't
not an
understand.
obsession.
It is
It's literally-
bro, it is now what? 2 years into Biden's presidency, and we still talking about Hunter fucking Biden, bro.
Well, I mean,
gives a
it
shit?
plays
We're
a
funding a
major
war in
role.
Ukraine.
Oh my
we've sent
god,
more
we
money to
fund,
Ukraine.
bro. We fund so much shit all across the world that you guys are uninterested in. It. The fixation on Ukraine is fascinating to me.
I don't know. It might cause
absolutely
World War III. We've lived in the
Please.
greatest peacetime on
Take
earth.
Sundays off the internet. Just take Sundays off the internet, dog.
I'm-
Just at least do that. You know what I'm saying?
I do take Sundays off the internet.
Good.
I take Saturdays. I just drink all day.
For the
Totally
boys.
off the internet.
All right, well, hey, you fucking Scruff McGruffs. I hope you crack the fucking case with this Hunter Biden shit,
They
dog.
have.
I hope you do it. They did. I'm glad. I hope they pin him under the jail. I hope
I
they do
mean,
it.
the reason Russia invaded was because they posed a major threat to Russia's only lifeline, which is control of natural resources in Europe.
All right, so
Like Nord Stream.
I've been doing a little bit of reading, not to brag. I took a book with me on my vacation, and I was reading on the beach. It's a little book called Hitler and Stalin, and it's actually a fascinating book. It's about kind of the uneasy truce that they had at the start of World War II, and they had some common goals, namely to divvy up Poland at the start, and then how they turned on each other. Well, really, Germany first turned on Russia, and then the USSR had to respond and eventually ended up pushing them back after Stalingrad. But what I thought was really interesting in this book was talking about Ukraine and how Ukraine played into the tug of war between the Nazis and USSR. So the Ukrainian people were under control of the USSR after the Bolshevik Revolution, and they always saw themselves as having a national identity of their own. Ukraine did. But they were under the control of Russia. There are some ethnic similarities in certain parts, and there's some shared history there, certainly between the Ukrainians and the Russians. But they wanted to have their own identity, right? And then Germany, once they invaded Poland, they divvied it up with the Soviets. They decided to fight a war on the Western Front and invade the Soviet Union to gain more resources to fund their war effort, because the Ukraine, Soviet Union, they've got a lot of minerals, they've got a lot of oil, they've got things of that nature that could be used to build up their manufacturing and really fund or supply the German military. So the German military started taking Ukraine, and a lot of people in Ukraine were very happy about that at the time, because the Germans, the Nazis, were telling the Ukrainians, we're here to liberate you. You're going to have your own country. We're going to plant it with flowers, and you're going to be your own people. So a lot of people in Ukraine, and there were also like 200,000 Jewish people in Kiev and surrounding areas that did get deported to the outskirts of town and shot and left in a ditch. So it's not like everybody in Ukraine was happy about this. But a lot of people in Ukraine were happy that the Nazis were taking over because it was getting rid of the Soviets and letting them start their own country. So as they pushed across, they developed they had long-standing hatred towards some of the Bolsheviks in the Soviet Union. And the Nazis were, to a certain extent, by some people in Ukraine, greeted as liberators. Then the Soviets pushed back, and then they retook over the country. And then when Eastern Europe subdivided at the end of the Cold War, then they became their own country again. So they've always had there is some element of truth to the fact that there are Nazi sympathizers living in Ukraine, but it goes all the way back to that history. And so there's
We've been funding them though.
There's a couple right, but we're not funding the ideology, the Nazi ideology. We're funding the Ukrainian defense against Russia.
We've been funding the development of a Ukrainian national identity since the coup in 2014, which was mostly like fascist guerrillas that helped take over the formerly Russian allied Ukrainian government. And basically we've been drumming up this serious nationalism through our foreign policy objectives in order to get a more Western Ukraine, which was a direct threat to Russian sovereignty in ways which has kind of caused this whole thing.
Yeah, but I don't think that Russia invaded Ukraine because of what you were talking about earlier. I don't think
not about Hunter Biden.
I don't think that has really. It's mostly about the fact that Ukraine does pose a threat because it's close to many important cities in Russia, and having that be like a Western friendly state, Putin saw that as a threat, and also Putin wanted to regain the borders that they lost at the end of the Cold War and restore Russia to its once like former glory. Now, then they started a war that like they started this war. They said, okay, we're going to amass troops and we're going to invade a sovereign nation and kill innocent people. And that's fucked up and they shouldn't be doing that. So I understand why we want to help defend against that, these innocent people being slaughtered. But at the same time, when people say that there are Nazis in the Ukrainian armed forces, that's just an abject fact. There are several battalions that are known for being Nazi or Nazi adjacent. Not to say that the entire Ukrainian military is, because it's not. It's a small fraction of them, but they're outspoken about their Nazi tendencies and Nazi.
I had heard a lot of like Nazi rhetoric around Ukraine and Ukrainian forces, and I didn't know where it came from. That was a great breakdown. Like I kind of never looked into. I'm not that interested in this whole thing, but that was a great breakdown. I appreciate the history.
It's never as simple as saying good guy, bad guy. Now they're fighting.
Sure.
There's always history that goes into it, and when you grow up in an environment like that's all you know. Like if you're a child growing up in a Nazi occupied Ukraine and you're not a Jewish person, and that's all that you know growing up, and they gave you your national identity, you would probably have more sympathy towards that faction than the Soviets coming in to take you over again. So it's complicated, and there's shades of gray. There's also the Nord Stream pipeline, which was first reported by Billy that the U.S. did it like the day after it happened. Billy was just like, I think we did it. We don't know who did it. We still don't. Seymour Hersh says that he has a source inside the Pentagon that told him that it was the Biden administration that did it. So they blew up that pipeline. Somebody blew up the pipeline, and Hersh is the guy that he exposed the My Lai massacre back in Vietnam. So he has a history of being right about things that the U.S. is sticking their nose into. Now, he's also been wrong about a lot of stuff too. So we're not sure if his source is correct. But if the U.S. did blow up the Nord Stream pipeline, they get caught for it, what is Germany going to do to us? Like, because like we just fucked with Germany big time, and we're supposed to be an ally.
Well, what Germany's going to end up doing is buying gas from Ukraine after the war is over. I mean, that's the geopolitical, like Russia's only lifeline. The only way they get money that can like keep up the regime, like keep Putin in power and that whole party, is that they're getting just like an umbilical cord of money from their natural resources straight from Europe. And that is how they've maintained their power. And that's all they want, is to maintain their borders. Trust me, I don't like a strong Russia. Like, I don't want Russia to be expansionist by any means. And the Ukrainian people absolutely should be taking up arms to fight against an invader. But it's kind of like, you know, we made serious, like we fucked around heavily in Ukraine to kind of cause the situation. We destabilized a kind of, you know, mafia state that was Russian sympathizing in their government. But we went around, fucked around with their government, caused national upheaval by sponsoring the Azov Battalion. You can look it up. We had forces training, special forces training the Azov Battalion in order to be like functional in this upheaval. Like what we've never had a coup. We never caused a coup in a country. The U.S. like CIA has never caused a coup. They did that in Ukraine. Caused Russia.
Isn't it a coup?
Yeah, it's okay. I was just
coup.
gonna.
Coup.
It's cool.
Billy
It's
learned
just
that
like
word by
eight times.
he learned that word by reading it, which that's a good thing.
I let it slide like the first 7 times. I just had to.
Coup. Just like a coup.
Billy said something
Coup
funny
sounds
before
better.
the show. He was like, I don't understand what I have that makes my brain say words wrong.
I think it's some sort of dyslexia. But like we've never done that. We pissed off Russia, and look, we knew we want a war-free world. We don't want like to be close to nuclear war.
Do we?
Yeah, but like
I don't think we
there's-
do.
I know, but basically we kind of stirred up shit. Like imagine if Russia was like doing stuff in Canada, giving arms to Canadians, doing all that stuff. We'd get pretty pissed off. Like, yes, I'm not on Russia's side, but it's not like we didn't like poke a bear and expect nothing to happen.
Yeah,
All right, so
now
you have a golden pen that can lay down executive orders, Billy. What is your solution to this issue?
Probably right now, the solution right now would be to go to the negotiation table with Russia and be like, look, you need to stop fucking around in the Middle East when it comes to Syria. You need to stop your expansionist rhetoric, and we'll let you have what you had before, which was supplying Europe with cheap oil that they're dependent on, and you keep getting money from it, and we won't threaten that. What happened is we threatened their one lifeline, which was trying to get Ukrainian natural gas and resources to Europe. That's what Hunter Biden was there for. He was supposed to be sort of representative of, hey, we want to come in, like we're going to continue the stuff we were doing before Trump, and we're going to try to get you guys into the Western world, maybe even a NATO ally, and get you into the trading natural resources with the West, and that will enrich your country, and which is all valiant things. But the direct result of that is Russia's going to get pissed off and just start fucking around in a way they haven't in a long time.
I actually don't think that Billy is super far off on this explanation, but I do struggle with being like Hunter Biden is a key player in all this. I think Hunter Biden was sniffing around, and he was one of like thousands of people that were involved in the Ukrainian energy policy decisions. And he was, I think he was an outside character. To say that that Hunter Biden caused the war in Ukraine, I think that's, you're getting into lunatic stuff.
No, but it's not lunatic stuff. All the guy had to be was a carrier pigeon to, parrot what his.
A lot of birds. It's a lot of birds.
It's a lot of birds. We're talking about parrots and pigeons. He had to be a carrier pigeon by just bringing documents back from the Ukrainian gas board meetings.
We all know he's a late night owl too.
Yeah, I mean,
it's good.
Look, you could literally put a mannequin in his position to do what he had to do, but
he's not a chicken.
Close ties. Hey, but he may be a canary in the coal mine.
He might, but you know what? He's got a cock. And that's bird talking with Hunter Biden.
Hey, Stork brought him to Joe.
That's true. I don't think that he is like a major player at all in this. I think that Billy's not far off with some of the explanation, and it's it is.
He's the only representative. Oh, yeah, it's the only representative we can put a name to of the party that was responsible.
That's
for those dealings.
To me, that's the biggest issue. To me, that's it. It sounds like a red herring.
Now we're going fish nor fowl.
Let's do it. So, I think in general, like the fixation on Hunter Biden is like. It's just a smokescreen, man. It doesn't get us anywhere, I don't think, and it just further causes the division that already exists. If he's guilty of something, let's do it. But if not, like let's cut the gate. Like it's just I don't understand. It just is beating this dead horse is wild. Like if the history books read in 100 years that Hunter Biden was an integral part of World War III, I will be so fucking surprised. Like it will absolutely surprise the shit out of me.
He's like the Archduke that got assassinated in
Yeah.
Serbia.
Well, think about it. The Archduke was just a relative of a royal family.
Well, I think he was the next in line.
Right. He was a son of someone.
Yeah, he was the heir apparent to shit. No, I'm spacing on it. I think
The Black Hand killed him. That's all you got.
Austria-Hungary?
That's all they taught us.
yeah, Serbians got him. The Serbians
The
got
Black
him,
Hand.
for sure. Serbs are responsible for all of it.
By the way, literally, so there's a joke. There's Serbians in my family, and the joke is that like Serbians hold like super grudges, and there's like family members who don't talk to each other because it's just like grudges, and it's like the Serbian temper literally caused all the world wars.
Yeah, I
That's
mean
what they said.
that and a lot of treaties.
Yeah.
But I also forgot when I was talking about the reasons why Ukraine hates Russia and the Soviet Union. A pretty big reason why is after the Bolshevik Revolution, when they tried to change all the agriculture, they ended up starving, I think, 3, maybe 5 million. I might be off on those figures. Millions and millions of Ukrainians starved to death, like in the streets. They just didn't have any food. And that was symbolic. To them, they thought, okay, when the Soviets took us over, they took away all of our food and we all starved to death in misery. Of course, you're going to hate that government. You're going to have like a long-standing hatred towards those people, as you should.
I mean, the worst thing, there's like some nuts pictures of markets that were selling dead people to be eaten from that time period. That unfortunately I stumbled upon.
They had to come to a different, and this might have been in Stalingrad as well. There was a different explanation for eating human flesh that was already dead, as opposed to killing somebody to eat their flesh. There was a distinction made in terms of what was against the law, because there was no food.
You cut out, but are you talking about Stalingrad?
Yeah,
Yeah. When we did the Putin episode, that was wild.
it was.
In those same laws were derived from those famines, forced famines.
Yeah. So there's a lot of gray area over there. But I'll say this about Biden. Whether or not you agree with the funding of the war in Ukraine and funding the Ukrainian military, it does take some balls to just like show up in an active war zone, right? Do you think he was aware of those risks, or somebody just said, "Get on a plane, Joe, we're going over there"?
I mean, he knows what's going on.
It takes some nuts, though, right, to show up in Kiev as the president of the United States?
I would feel pretty comfortable in my safety as the president of the United States.
I mean, it's within range of some of the Russian weaponry. I don't know. I don't know if I'd feel. It takes some balls. That's all I'm saying.
Did we see him fall? Was that him who fell down the stairs of Air Force One?
No, but he tripped going up the stairs.
It was Jason Derulo at the Met Gala. You're thinking?
Yeah. No, you know how they're telling to put the NATO air defense like no-fly zone over Ukraine.
Yeah.
I guarantee they had that. They like did it for Biden being there. But,
Yeah.
like they won't do it all the time.
Yeah. I mean, if you put a no-fly zone over Ukraine, you are going to start a war, like a full-on, multifaceted war.
You know what's really worrying me about the war in Ukraine? China and Iran have started to start to produce serious weapons manufacturing to give to Russia, and like they're manufacturing drones, and we're literally seeing an Axis and allies form right before our very eyes, and it's freaking me the
Only
fuck
we
out.
can have drones. You know that.
I know, but we shouldn't be testing military hardware out. Like I'm in Washington D.C. right now, and I haven't spent that much time around here, but you can feel the military industrial complex all around you. There are
Oh yeah?
What
How
does it
so?
feel like?
there's helicopters everywhere, like low flying.
Right.
There's you like drive by the Pentagon and you're like, oh shit, like this is really where it all goes down.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've allocated all of our military budget spending that was on Afghanistan to Ukraine, and we're producing all these weapons, and it's kind of like you're just seeing everything ramp up. real fast.
Hey, bro,
It's like,
one of the things that you listed was, and you walk by the Pentagon, it's like, oh shit, this is where it goes down. And that's how you feel the military industrial
Well,
complex.
no, but like think about it. Like you walk by Wall Street and you're like, oh shit, this is where the stock market goes down. You walk by the Pentagon and you're like, oh shit, this.
It's
this
real.
is where we do all this stuff.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
it's a real building. It's a giant building. It might be the biggest office building in the world by square footage.
The Pentagon?
Yeah, I think so. At one time it was. I'm not sure if it still is. But yeah, it's a big ass building. Yeah, Billy, it's military industrial complex in the DC area is massive. Once you get out of the city and you start
Yeah.
driving down the corridors, all those buildings are built using military contract money. All of them. It's all the server farms, all the toll roads, all the highways. You'll see these giant buildings that with like a little logo at the top of it. Those are all military contractors, and they employ probably millions of people in the DC, Maryland area. It's
like
a real thing.
driving down here, we drove by the NSA and I was like, Dukes, like that's the National Surveillance Agency.
I want
He
you and
goes-
Dukes to get to the bottom of the NSA.
no, but he
More
was
than
like,
anything.
what? And I was like, the NSA, bro.
It's
And
like
he's like, what?
Harold and Kumar do the military industrial complex.
We're having some fun.
That would be lit.
Yeah. So, all right, that was talking foreign policy.
Yeah.
Good job, guys.
Arkansas police rule suicide and death of Clinton aide linked to Epstein. So
All right,
that's
Billy, give me your
That's
source on
wild.
this. I'm gonna be heavy on demanding sources on this because I saw one person tweet about it, and that person might not even be a real person. So I'm gonna need you to source this out for me.
Mark Middleton dead at the U.S. Sun. Is that good enough for you? There's a couple others.
What's the U.S. Sun?
The
British
Rubel Funeral
publication.
Home.
The
Arkansas-
Insider paper as well.
What's that?
I
I've
see
never
the
heard of
Daily
these things
Mail.
ever.
Daily
Mail
Mail?
is junk. It is.
It's a legitimate publication.
Daily Mail is junk.
Okay, you're gonna like this one about Arkansas Democrat. The Arkansas Democrat Gazette. Is
Okay.
that good enough for you? There's Democrat in there.
I don't know anything about it. Why do you keep saying that I'm a Democrat? I don't have a D next to my name.
Because they just
I
they
think you might
refuse to
trust-
they refuse to listen. They just refuse. It's
I
fascinating.
think you might trust. I think you might trust something.
Unreal that they continue to bang this drum.
So they ruled his death a suicide, even though he was shot and hung, and they can't find the weapon he committed suicide with.
All right. If hypothetically, I'm going to play along. Okay. I'm the
Got and hung.
I'm Bill Clinton's illegitimate son that nobody knows about, and I'm the hitman that takes care of all this stuff. Anytime somebody says something about Hillary, I show up, I kill them. I'm probably pretty good at my job because according to the lore, they've killed like 100 people, right? So I want to stage a suicide. This is my specialty. I'm really good at it. So I go and I hang this guy, and then I shoot him in the chest, and then I walk away with the gun. And I'm like, another perfect suicide staged by me, the Clinton hitman. You think that's how it went down?
Economy's rough. They might be having to get new guys. But they're on a budget.
That's a
They're-
good
they don't
point.
have the same level
Well,
of
the thing is,
competency that they used to.
they have to keep killing the old guys who are good at their job just so the truth doesn't get out.
Okay,
So-
so now they're getting sloppy.
Well, because they have to keep finding new guys.
Can you send? Can you
Times
send?
are tough. You
can
try to buy
send-
eggs recently?
Send a link to the group chat from the Arkansas Democrat Gazette, and then I'll read that article and I'll see. Because I think this thing happened a long time ago, and that one dude
It
just
happened in 2022.
Yeah.
There was another one that happened a longer time ago that was the exact same type of killing. The one that they talk about where the guy was hung and shot, this is the second one. This happened in 2022.
okay, yeah, 2022. Can you send me the link to the Arkansas Democrat Gazette so I can read what they say?
They repeat the facts of it, but they take it from the other side. He was also like, okay, let me find it. Wait, I'm trying to find the thing. What's weird about it is the exact same way another guy was found dead,
So
shot and hung.
So what's interesting is I did read the tweet from this person, and they made it sound like it just happened, but it happened like 6 months ago, the thing that he was talking about. So that was red flag number one, was this guy thinking he was breaking news that had already happened. And then I was reading the replies, and it was interesting because the replies were mostly people saying like, chalk another one up for the Clintons, things like that. There was one guy that replied that said, Mark was a friend of mine. This is a suicide. Please don't talk about it this way. And the guy had the don't tread on me flag as his Twitter profile picture. So I clicked on that, and this guy is like, he's a right winger. He's like into all the prototypical right wing online stuff, but he's the one that's saying like, hey, I know what you guys are doing, but I actually knew this guy. So in this case, it's not a conspiracy.
So I like your anecdotal evidence.
Yeah,
I
it
use
is
a lot.
It is anecdotal.
Can you please send us the thing so we can? So I mean, we're bringing up sources here.
Yeah, but you still haven't sent the Democrat Gazette one.
Oh, sorry.
And I'll countersend it. And again, it is anecdotal, and I have no idea if this person's legit, but it looked like a normal, just online guy that's really into right wing stuff.
He said, hey, I know what you guys are doing, but not this one.
Yeah, this
Like
one. He's like, I appreciate
How
the
many-
effort. I love your passion. So yeah,
It's just weird.
so go ahead and send that.
Let me find.
Send that link.
I
to
sent
the,
it. It's the last one. Last one I sent.
Okay,
It's Arkansas Online.
it's Arkansas
Is the-
Online.
Yeah, but it's the Arkansas Democrat Gazette.
Okay, all right. So I'll countersend my reply guy, and we'll have a reply guy off. How does that sound?
I will inspect this reply guy because I also love reply guys.
Okay, his Twitter name is Lion Not Sheep, so that's cool.
That's strong.
That is
This is a fed.
strong.
This is a fed. This is a fed.
You're already calling him a
This
fed.
is a fed.
You haven't
This
you
is an
haven't
active
clicked
fed.
on anything. You haven't done. You've done negative research.
Hey, the funniest shit is the dialogue underneath his tweet. So he goes, Mark was a personal friend. His death was a suicide. Please take this post down. Under that, some guy goes, we believe you 2-month-old anonymous account. Taking it down right away, sir. To which he replies, anonymous because of cancel culture. 2 months old because my conservative views have been canceled twice by Twitter.
This is a fed, bro.
No, this
guy
could be
literally-
a fed. This could be a fed.
This, if you're reading this, all this guy is posting January 6th stuff. If you probably go back, this is like the type of person who is like saying, "Oh, storm the Capitol, storm the Capitol."
You have zero evidence to say that he's a fed. Now, I'm not saying that I have evidence to prove that he's real because it's Twitter and it could be anybody. But it is very funny that he's being the sympathetic. He's probably going to get turned. He's probably going to get flipped, and he'll be like, you know what? I was wrong. Okay, now I believe it was Clinton that did it.
Dude, all this guy is he retweets. He has no actual I'm going to his replies. All he does is retweet right wing like vanilla ass stuff. The "don't tread on me" flag stuff is legitimate. Yeah, dude.
No, not true. He's replying to a tweet talking about, I don't know who Alexander Diaz is, but he said this is the 2024 Republican ticket. What's your reaction? And he replied, why would DeSantis choose a Democrat as his running mate? I'm confused.
Yeah, he doesn't like Nikki Haley.
Mm-hmm.
She's too much of a lib.
Fed. Most rational people like Nikki Haley, who's on the right.
I don't know if you have any facts to back that one up.
I don't know. He's pretty active, actually, man. I'm looking at it. We're looking at his replies.
Oh, so it looks like the family is asking people to stop harassing them with outlandish, hurtful, unsupported, and offensive online articles. So it sounds like the family believes it was a suicide. They believe that very strongly. They've got like a lawyer and stuff. So I'm looking at the article that you sent over, Billy. Is this the Arkansas Democrat Gazette? Because the link says Arkansas Online. Yeah, it is. Okay.
Yeah, that's the Arkansas.
Yeah, so that's the article is saying like the family is upset about all these insinuations. So I guess we'll never know. Unless you and Dukes can get to the bottom of it. I have full faith.
I know you're trying to disqualify my opinion by lumping Dukes and I together, but we're the future of America, and you can't just count us out like that.
I'm not counting you guys out. I love Dukes. So, all right, let's transition because I don't think that we're going to make any more ground on this. I'm curious to know though what Big T is teed off about. Or are you teed up?
I guess there is something I'm teed off about. I don't know if can we talk about Brandon Miller?
Yeah, we can talk about Brandon Miller.
Because this is the most insane thing I've ever seen.
So you want to give a little bit of background because my only background in this comes from what Hank said yesterday, and I'm not saying I don't trust Hank, but I think Hank was learning about the case as he was trying to explain it to us. So I'm not sure that we got everything necessary from him. So what do you know?
So Arian, have you heard about this?
No, I don't know Brandon Miller.
Okay. So a month ago, an Alabama basketball player got arrested for murder. He and another guy.
Whoa, did not expecting that one.
Yeah, they killed a woman in Tuscaloosa. So he's obviously been in jail since he was arrested, like early January, I think. Yesterday, they had one of their first hearings for the case. And the guy who was arrested wasn't very good. He was a role player. It comes out that
it's so not important.
Well, it is important. It's
Okay.
important to the next part of the story.
All right, you're right. I cut you off, but
okay.
It
is relevant.
What was his plus minus?
I don't know. He was hurt. He was done for the year anyway.
Mother, bad guy.
Anyway, it comes out yesterday that he texted Brandon Miller, who is Alabama's best player and going to be a top 5 pick in the draft, at I believe about 1:30 in the morning, and said, bring me, Brandon Miller was in possession of the other guy's gun. The guy texts Brandon Miller, bring me my gun. Brandon Miller brings it to him. That guy then hands it to the other guy he was with, and then they committed the murder. Brandon Miller's car was also at the scene, and it had 2 bullet holes in the windshield. The cars were in sort of a blockade that prevented the woman from getting away as they killed her. I don't believe Brandon Miller was there when it happened. Mm-hmm. But he did deliver them the gun that was then used in the commission of the murder. Now, apparently in Alabama, that's not illegal. I don't know how that's the case, but he has not been charged with anything. But he also...
Did he know what the gun was going to be used for?
I can't answer that. I would say if someone texts you at 1:30 in the morning, bring me my gun, you should have a reasonable suspicion as to why they're asking that.
Little devil's advocate right now. If some dude left a gun in my car, I'd be trying to get rid of it as fast as I could. I don't care.
But he wasn't trying to get rid of it. He had it, and then the guy texted him, bring it to me, and he did.
But there could be, I
Sure.
play devil's advocate as well, because there could be 1:30 in the morning in college is not 1:30 in the morning to us, right? So 1:30 in the morning in college is like 9 p.m., 10 p.m., right? So it's for everybody's out doing things.
The story goes on. Let me read you what Alabama head coach Nate Oates had to say yesterday about it. Quote, "We knew about that. Can't control everything everybody does outside of practice. Nobody knew that was going to happen. College kids are out. Brandon hasn't been in any type of trouble, nor is he in any type of trouble in this case. Wrong spot at the wrong time." That's what their coach said about it. So if I guess he's not going to get in any legal trouble, but the fact that it seems like he's going to play tonight, and Nate Oates is going to play him the rest of the season, that's insane to me.
It is crazy that he's going to play tonight and that he continued to play after. Like he's not being charged with anything right now. Is that correct?
Right.
But he's definitely involved in the investigation heavily.
The best case scenario is he didn't know they were trying to kill someone, but delivered them a gun very late at night that was immediately used to kill someone.
And he did say in the... because there's another part though, Aaron.
That is the best case scenario. He didn't know, but...
Yeah, but... Okay, yeah. So, to further that case, unless he knew what it was used for, unless he knew that this other dude was capable of murdering, like, I don't know. Like I got a bunch of homies. If they was like, "Yo, bring me my gun," I left it at the house. Whatever, however they had it. He was like, "Yo, bring me my shit," and I was out and about. I just brought it. I wouldn't have thought anything of it because I don't think my man's is a murderer, right? But if he knows he's capable of murder, that's definitely is a possibility. But I mean, he's 18, 19 years old. I don't know.
It's going to be tough to prove that he knew that the person was about to shoot somebody,
Which
but
is fair.
He did text the guy back saying like the gun is in the hat, and he said, and there's one in the head, meaning that there was a bullet that was in the chamber ready to be shot. So he told him.
Yeah.
Is that true?
think Miller said that. I think.
So if the other dude said that, that's even more so for Miller because then it's like awesome. Like, hey, be careful because it's loaded.
Okay,
and
so
Miller didn't know that it was loaded. You know what
Let
I
me
mean?
check. Let me check. I believe that was said by Darius Miles to the guy who actually pulled the trigger.
Okay.
I think.
Okay, all right. I might have messed that up.
Yes.
Quick question.
When Miller got to the scene, Miles told Davis, those are the two people who were involved in the commission of the murder. Quote, the heat is in the hat. Detective Brandon Culpepper said that meant the gun was present. Miles added, quote, there's one in the head.
Okay, so
Who
yeah,
was the target?
that wasn't Brandon Miller that texted that, for the record.
Correct. And I believe that was said out loud.
Okay.
It was a woman.
No, but was the target the woman?
Yes.
Or was it someone else in the car?
No, it was her.
Was she the only one in the car?
I
Why
don't know.
do we know why they were trying to kill her?
I am not entirely sure, but I believe it was like very intentional and it was supposed to be her.
Yeah.
But even if he didn't commit a crime, that is what it is. But you can be suspended for things that you don't get arrested for.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying he should be suspended?
Yes, and even more so than that, the coach to say what he said yesterday, I think is incomprehensible. To say you can't control what everybody does outside of practice when you're talking about a murder, that's insane.
And he said,
I mean, he's not wrong though.
he also said like
It's a bit insensitive. But
college kids will do college kid stuff.
Yeah, college kids are out.
yeah, I'm unsure about that. But I think, I don't know. I guess I'm very sympathetic towards the woman for sure, and I know like the family wants everybody involved buried. I bet. But I'm also looking at it from the kid's perspective. Like if you genuinely didn't know, and because I mean I dealt with firearms when I was in college. I know dudes who had them. I know you know what I'm saying. I had it in my hand and we passed it or whatever. If in the midst of all of that, of like, yo, let me check out the piece, it went from that to, yo, that piece that you passed buddy last night, yo, he shot somebody with, that'd have been like, whoa, what the fuck? You know what I mean? And so like from that standpoint, I could see his part in it is very minimal, other than, yo, the gun was in his possession. Now, I mean, that's for the authorities to figure out and all that shit. But, and to the truth of it, we'll never know. You know, we're always obviously speculating, but I could see both sides. If he knew, that's silly and that's sick. And yeah, he deserves whatever he gets from it. But if he didn't know, it's hard to be like, yo, suspend him, or it's hard to be, I can't really make that case because he didn't do anything illegal. He didn't do anything wrong, really, like morally, in my opinion, if he didn't really know what was going down.
I would say, I understand that point of view, but let's say that this guy was eighth guy.
So that's
like at the
exactly
end of the bench,
say.
right? If he's at the end of the bench and he's involved in a murder investigation, I'm pretty sure
He is both kicked off the team and arrested, I think.
I don't know if maybe not arrested, but he would definitely be at least suspended until the investigation plays its way out.
For
right?
sure.
So
But since he's
Really
their best
quick,
player,
I mean, okay, I can see that. I mean,
then they have like, different rules based on your ability level in sports is the harsh truth sometimes.
That's always been the case, though. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's always been the case. Yeah.
really quick. So there was another person in the car. The woman's boyfriend was in the car, who also shot out of the car. There was of two sides of fire, which I think, I'm not saying, it's either that or but there was a shootout between two parties and she was hit.
Yeah. I don't know if that's the case. I haven't really read up on it. I believe you if you're saying that there was a shootout.
Yeah, I don't.
From the article I'm
know.
reading, Miss Cotton added that the boyfriend returned fire, striking one of the suspects when the suspect visited the hospital in the area he was connected to the shooting. So
Returned fire, meaning once they started shooting at them, he shot back.
right,
Yeah.
You guys remember Clyde Edwards-Helaire when he was at LSU? He killed a guy.
I don't remember this.
Yeah, he shot and killed
Vaguely, I do
the
remember
guy on the
something, but
Chiefs, the
not-
running back on the Chiefs. He shot and killed a guy at LSU, but it was justifiable. So they were like, somebody was selling someone a video game system or some sort of electronic, and this guy, I think he was 18 years old, pulled out a gun and tried to rob Clyde Edwards-Helaire and I guess the guy that was driving the car, and Clyde turned around and shot him and killed him, but it was self-defense and it was justified.
Yeah, I mean,
So they're, you know,
Yeesh. That's so heavy, dog. Just in that aspect of like, even if you know, you survive the investigation and they find out it is justifiable, like, and in your head you did justify it as well because you know you felt threatened for your life. Like forever, like you got a body. You know what I mean? Like forever, like you took a life. Granted, yours was in danger, and that's fight or flight, and you know, very rare. But like, still, just that feeling of I took a life. That's something that's wild. I mean,
you got to live with
you have
that.
yeah, you got to live with that, and not necessarily. I mean, you was in that situation unbeknownst to you, right? So it's not your fault, but it's just a very
Changes your life.
yeah, it changes your life entirely, your outlook for sure.
So we do have a very, very special guest coming on. Is he ready to go?
Almost.
Oh, he's almost ready to go. I guess we can break the news right now. This is our 100th episode.
Well, yeah.
The 100th episode of Macrodosing. And what a long, strange trip it's been.
It's also our second birthday when this comes out.
How about that?
Good time.
All right, happy birthday,
Happy
guys.
birthday, guys.
we've been
Fucking
doing this
do
for
it.
2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys have.
Bro,
What the fuck?
really funny, man.
Yeah, 2 years. It's really flown by, actually.
Y'all got any cupcakes?
I don't have any cupcakes.
Damn.
We
Not-
should have
that's
had
not-
something to
that's-
celebrate, man.
That's not very April Abs
We-
behavior.
That's
of you.
facts.
We-
You're right.
We don't have any cupcakes, but we do have a fire new shirt that we're putting
Also
up for sale. Avery's wearing it right now.
I got it.
Avery's got it on. It's got a UFO. It's got an alien. It's got, I'm reading across my left, Big T is looking good. Giant. Yeah, the beard looks full on that shirt. It's got me. It's got Sasquatch. It's got a frog.
It's one of the logos that we didn't use when this.
Oh, wait, no,
podcast
are
No,
you being
so-
facetious?
No, I couldn't see from across the room. It's Arian. It's me and Arian.
Yeah, it's not Big T.
I don't know if they.
What?
You do look light. You
Yeah,
do look
I
light
don't-
from here.
I don't think they really got the skin tone that right. But it's a fire shirt. It's a good shirt. Billy is the frog. Big T, which are you?
I'm not on this.
No.
This was a logo that was pitched at the beginning that we didn't use.
Yeah, this is like a retro, never before seen logo.
Okay,
Yep.
I like it.
What could have been?
So when this show
Oh.
comes out, it's going to be a 1-day release.
1 day release.
You only
okay.
have 1 day to get the shirt.
24 hours to
That's
purchase
it.
the
So
shirt.
if we ever see you wearing this shirt, that means you're a real one.
It's like the kiss thing on the act, the kiss coin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just found out what the Kiss coin was like a couple weeks ago.
Mhm.
That's fucking weird.
Can you imagine if someone
That's
just came
weird.
up to you on the street and kissed you?
Yeah, it happens all the time. Yeah, when you got dumps like these. So we do have a very special guest joining us for our 100th episode. I think he's logged
Sometimes you
on
gotta go
right
back.
now. Sometimes you got to go back to go forward. Do we have his video?
I don't know. Do we?
Mystery guest, can you unveil yourself on the video?
I don't know that I know how to do that.
Okay, go to the camera, the highlights, and it says turn on camera.
Who could it be?
Coley man.
It's the Mick Man. The Mick Man is joining us. I've missed you, Coley. We've all missed you.
Coley.
Wait, hold on. Let him get his camera on before we.
You're turn on camera. There it is.
There you go. What's up,
Hey.
dog?
What's up, Coley? How we doing?
I can't complain. How are
Oh.
you, beautiful people?
So I'm glad you finally got a mic, man.
I've always had a mic.
Really, this one sounds a little more crispy, dog.
This one was sent to me by the new employer, so take it up with your current employer.
Yeah, flex like that.
Shade, I love it.
So what's up, Coley? What's new? What's going on in your life? Big Pop over there.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's nothing despite the drastic life change, nothing feels different at all. Because like I went from doing that for so long, but I was with Tyler for so long. So then I just went to where Tyler was. So it didn't feel like that drastic of a change, despite leaving a company I'd been with. My career is a weird word to use, but entire career to just a different company entirely. So I don't know. It doesn't really feel much different. Like I see all of you people on the internet like I did before anyway. Nothing's really changed is what I'm getting at. Zero things have changed.
I got a very serious question, dog. Why? And I'm glad that you are, but why are you still in the group chat? Like I don't want you to leave, but it's if I would just put myself in your shoes, I'd have been dipped because it should be active and we be sending shit. And if you're not really in on the conversation, you're like, yo, what the fuck is this? Why are you still in the group chat? Like, what's keeping you there? Is it just you love us, man, or what's with that?
Yeah, I mean, I certainly love you all, but I've got it super muted. So there's times I'll look at my phone and it's just like, why do I have 60 notifications? And then it's like, Billy's like, this is why the Vax doesn't work. And so that's really what it is. I get all my news from there. That's where I learn whether or not we should be getting more boosters or if we can read Dr. Seuss or if that's been banned again. That's why I'm in there.
They did just come out and say masks didn't work.
No, they didn't.
Huge.
They did.
No, that's.
they didn't.
I'll send it to you.
No,
if you no,
they didn't. Shut the fuck up. No, they didn't.
It's
Shut
in
the
the
fuck
New
up. No,
York
they didn't.
Times.
Shut the fuck up. No, they didn't.
Okay, you're wrong, Arian. You are objectively wrong.
Dog, okay, we could do this, and we will absolutely do this. I will look at the study with you and go over it and show why what you're saying is fucking stupid. I will absolutely do that. Let's do it. Fuck it. Let's do it.
Okay.
Send me the New York Times article. No, please don't send me the New York article.
I'm just going to send you.
No. Send me the paper cited in the New York Times article.
I'm sending it.
Okay.
I forgot how easy that was.
Fucking ridiculous.
No, this is a fact. This is a fact.
No, it's not a fact. It's not a fact. It's not a fact.
Something I think of
truth, Big T.
Something I think of often that people like Big T, who has not said hello yet.
Hello.
That was not a hello. That was not.
Like
Give him a better hello than that.
Hello.
That's again.
Hello. I don't know what you want from me.
Oh no.
Like the NBA bubble did happen, and that just gets erased from history these last few years. There were no positive cases. No one can describe that, explain that. Nobody. I find that interesting.
Adam Silver. You wanted LeBron to get a title. Easy.
You wanted a bunch of guys who couldn't breathe.
Yeah. No, the Heat. Everybody on the Heat basically had like full on asthma during that finals, and then he wanted LeBron and the Lakers, historic franchise, return to glory. It would have been a disaster. Can you imagine though how differently we would be talking about LeBron on the Lakers if that never happened? Like it would be.
I talk about him as if it didn't happen, so it's very easy to imagine.
Yeah.
There's some great tweets from the bubble. It was like, this guy went to Mickey Mouse's clubhouse to pick up a DoorDash order, and now he must quarantine for 2 weeks.
Yeah. I'm eager to hear this showdown between Arian and Coley, though. I'm sure, or Arian and Big T. I'm sure that will change a lot of minds.
I'm reading the study. Give me 1 second.
Okay. So Coley.
By the way.
Yeah.
By the way, remember that one day when I was talking about they didn't test the vaccine for it's spreading. They didn't test the transmission.
You're gonna have to be more specific. Like which day are we talking about?
The one day I said, look, they just said that they never test the vaccine for transmissibility, only on whether it showed symptoms, whether it suppressed symptoms. And then I pointed to the Twitter algorithm and I said, look, it's the highest number of tweets about it, but they still have it listed on 50.
Okay.
Pressing the views?
No, like tweets about. Like I was like, look at all these trending topics. They have it down on 50, even though it has the highest number of tweets about it.
I mean, I don't know anything about how Twitter has the algorithm set,
right,
where
well,
like what's trending higher because it factors in like recency of tweets.
No, but back then I literally said it's because they're probably suppressing it through the algorithm, which we just found out through the Twitter files was actually happening.
Of that particular tweet?
Yes, that day.
All right.
I like, and then you guys told. Actually, I don't even think we aired any of that. No, we actually didn't because you guys were getting angry at me. But I was right.
My guess is that with what that person was talking about, the implication was that if somebody is more symptomatic, then they're more likely to spread the virus, which I believe is true, right? If you have a higher viral load and you're showing symptoms, then you're more likely to transmit. And if the vaccine prevents symptoms and makes you healthier, as opposed to having COVID without the vaccine protection, then you're probably going to be more likely to transmit if you're like coughing and sneezing and shit.
Actually,
I'm so you've had it like 7 times.
I had
Me?
No, PFT.
I had it back to back. I had it like in the same month. I had two different types, and then I had it again. This most recent one was mid though. I defeated that shit.
Falling off.
Yeah.
Coley, do you have a Brandon Miller take? We were doing Brandon Miller before you got on.
Oh, gun guy. No, to me that's just the South. Like some guys have guns in their car. Like I don't know that he should be charged with anything.
What about suspended?
If you're not if the DAs said they're not going to press charge, like they physically can't, legally cannot press charges, I don't know what he should be suspended for.
I think you can be suspended for doing something wrong if you're not arrested for it.
What was wrong?
He delivered the gun that was used in the commission of a murder.
Well, hold on. You're putting
Alleged.
intent.
Allegedly.
You're putting intent on there. He delivered a gun that was asked of him, which is not illegal to deliver a gun, or is it?
What's
It was
Alabama, I don't know.
the gun was used to commit a murder.
But that's like saying
I didn't say he may not have known that.
well, that's important.
Yes, it is.
Inferring that he knew is a leap that I'm
I didn't
unwilling
say
to
that.
take it.
I just said we don't know.
Well, if he hasn't done, if we don't know, then it's innocent until proven guilty per your constitution. Then we should assume innocence until they prove him that he had intent, that he knew what the gun was used for, because it's not illegal to deliver a gun.
Sure, I said nothing of intent.
You said it was wrong. You said it was wrong.
Suspended. Yeah,
I think
that's why I don't know. why
I
he's
think you
suspended.
should have a reasonable suspicion when someone asks you at 1:30 in the morning to bring you their gun. Also,
That's
I'd be more worried if it was like 1:30 in the afternoon.
It was just
Chaotic time to ask for a gun.
that's a fair point.
you just got done with lunch.
Yeah.
Did he
It was also
break
his
any
car though, right?
what do you mean?
It was his car that had the bullet holes in it?
Yes, his car remained at the scene of the shooting in what could be described as a roadblock that prevented the car that the
He
woman
boxed him
was
in.
in from getting away, and his car had
Yeah.
2 bullet holes in the
That's
windshield.
that to me is a big factor too. So he was not at the scene.
I don't know.
They didn't find him at the scene.
It sounds it was ambiguous
Just his
as to
car.
whether or not he was there from what I read.
Okay,
One of the top basketball prospects in the country. I'm sure he could get away pretty quickly.
that's true. It's a good point.
Did he break any student code of conduct stuff? Because
Yes, I think somebody said they found like 7 having a
So
gun
he-
on campus, all sorts of other stuff.
Yeah, a lot of
so-
programs have rules that are specifically no guns with this I remember we took a tour of Ohio State's practice facility a couple years ago, and they had like this big like mural that said here are like 5 things that we take really seriously. One was you don't hit women, and then another was like no firearms. And so I'm sure that a lot of big time college athletic programs have
I
similar
think it's
rules.
a rule that you can't have one on a college campus.
Yeah.
You know what's so ridiculous? Like my liberal arts college, we had something similar, but it was like no cheating on tests. Like
That's a rule
that
at
took-
every school.
I know, but like
They really
Like,
cracked down there, though.
yeah, no, seriously, cheating, like academic honesty was like one of the biggest ones, but it's like,
Yeah.
different programs, different rules.
Yeah, I mean, Coley's right. That's just you're talking about school.
School, yeah.
I had that same rule in my first grade class. It's crazy. They must have known that we were going to be elite athletes. So Coley, give me some NBA takes, because I used to love all the time when you and Arian would square off regarding the NBA. I'm sure that you're confident in your Celtics, your beloved Celtics. I'm personally, I feel like Giannis has been disrespected this year. I feel like the Bucks.
Yeah.
What are they on, like a 10-game win streak right now?
I think it's 11.
Yeah, I feel like the Bucks are being overlooked in the East.
I mean, the Bucks are really good. I think they're the second best team in the league. I think it's a classic Colts Patriots. If I could make this a more Boston analogy, when Brady and Manning would face off in the AFC Championship game, and people would be like, "This is the real Super Bowl."
Mhm.
The Bears don't even count on the other side of this. So, yeah, I do think they're the two best teams in the league. I don't think it matters who has home court because, of course, the Bucks had home court last year. We saw how that ended. And I do feel like the Bucks have been given this like free pass for their injuries. The Celtics have had just as many guys miss games, starters miss games, as the Bucks have this year. So I'm not really afraid of anyone this year. It's the Celtics title to lose, and if they lose it, I'll be in a tremendous amount of hurt. But I don't think that's going to happen.
It is this. I don't know. Is it the Celtics to lose? Can you say that?
I did, so I don't. No one stopped me. I wasn't arrested.
I usually don't hear that when somebody's talking about a team that's not a defending champion.
Well, the other defending champion is very unserious this year, or the only defending champion is very unserious this year. So it's like we're the other half. Someone a couple of months ago compared us to the 2014 Spurs. Obviously not the defending champion. They had lost to the Heat the year prior, and then came back all year and just seemed like very laser focused on one goal. And watching the Celtics this year, outside of playing the Orlando Magic, they seem to take care of their business against everyone. They have the best record against teams above 500. They have the best record against teams in the playoffs currently. We've been mopping up Philly with like Peyton Pritchard covering Joel Embiid in crunch time. So it's like, I know they're not serious. The Heat, a team who's been here historically the last 5 years or so, they've been quite unserious this year. So it's like, yeah, if we get by the Bucks, I'm not worried about anyone coming out of the West. So it's really just the Bucks.
Give me some Westbrook takes. Give me some Westbrook. Who would you rather have if you're the Clippers? Would you rather have John Wall or Westbrook?
Someone has what's the British show that plays Yakety Sax? The Yakety Sax is what I was looking for, so it doesn't even matter.
Uh-huh.
But someone has like a Yakety Sax full extended length version of just John Wall turnovers from this year. He hasn't played a ton for the Clippers, and to be able to have like 3 minutes of turnover plays and none of them are like replays of the turnover, it kills me to say, but I go like, I love John Wall, but he just does not have it anymore. It has to be Russ.
Yeah, I don't know if I would want either one of them, to be honest with you. I used to love John Wall. I did. When he was on the Wizards, he was am I making this up that John Wall was really fucking good for like a 3-4 year span?
No, you're not making that up. John Wall was unbelievable. He got hurt, got traded for Westbrook. The Rockets stapled him to the bench, and now he is who he is. I mean, he was on Team USA. Like, John Wall was everywhere.
Yeah, because somebody was saying like John Wall's never been good. He's just been fast, and it is true. He was very, very fast,
Quite fast.
but he was good too. He was like he was a superstar.
Oh, yeah.
He got Supermax, right?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, because that was why him and Russ were able to be traded for each other, because their salaries matched.
Yeah. All right. So that was talking NBA with McMahon. Arian,
You guys,
Big T, do you guys
How are the Celtics and how's Westbrook doing?
Yeah. You got any other takes that are too hot for sexual Jumanji to hear?
Oh no, I mean there's no such thing. Sex J he's the king of the takes. It makes me so happy just to see him I just got off the phone with him. I'm not going to say got off with him. That's a completely different implication. I just got off seeing him, and he makes me laugh every single day.
Who's sexual Jumanji? I've never. What is that?
He does the show with me and Tyler. He's a long-time tweeter, prolific tweeter, and he's just one of the funniest humans alive for my money. Like he's
that name.
outrageous human.
That name alone has me interested. Sexual Jumanji.
Yeah, Aaron, you should follow him. I think you'd like Sex J.
Send him in a group chat. I'm gonna follow him just based off the name. That shit is magnificent name, dog. Sexual Jumanji.
Yeah.
That's fire, dog.
His new name you might like even more because his old account got compromised, so he had to create a new Twitter handle, and it's Most Crucified. Sorry, Big T.
Yeah.
Dudes, I gotta head out.
That's funny.
All right,
man.
Great
Take care,
to see
man.
you, Coley.
Go drink beers.
Polo, Billy.
Have fun.
Yeah,
have fun beering.
Bye, Billy.
I have to entertain a lot of clients.
All right, enjoy.
There you go.
Yeah. See you guys.
See
Do
ya.
that joke when I still worked there.
Yeah, Sex J, also known as Scoob. If you're a real friend of him, you call him Scoob.
Mm-hmm. They crucified me, Scoob.
Yeah.
They put me on the cross. And one of my favorite tweets, he just, I don't, because they're all non sequiturs. Like it's like drill. They're all non sequiturs, and he just goes, "I'm playing the oboe on my wife's grave," which is just an unbelievable visual. Just
Yeah, he's a great online presence. I feel like he's been on the internet since the internet existed. He's like OG.
and he's still like 26, like he's a young boy, and he's a child of the internet. He was born from the WWs.
He did figure out a hack to the internet, which is if you're on Twitter and you tweet about anything, if you just put Scoob at the end of every tweet, it's instantly 5 times funnier. If you just imagine that it's Shaggy saying it to his dog.
They crucified me, Scoob.
Yeah. Big T, Arian, have you guys figured out the mask divide?
Of course. Because
I'm really curious how
I
he
will
spins
guarantee
this.
you. It's not a spin, dog. It's very clear you didn't read the study.
I did.
Obviously, you did not read the study.
All right, tell me why.
I'll tell you why you didn't read the study, and also you didn't read any literature around the study. That's
Wrong
very
again.
clear. Okay.
I've-
Tell me. No. Okay. If you did, tell me the limitations of this study that they admitted in the study. Tell me.
I have no idea what you're talking
Of
about.
course you don't. Big
Listen,
T. Of course
Let
you don't.
me tell you what
This
the
is
guy
very
who
obvious.
did the study
Everything
said.
that we ever talk, I already know because I read it.
Do you know what he said? The
It depends-
Oxford
which one?
epidemiologist who conducted the study. You know what he said?
Tell me what he said in the isolated quote that you're about to give me.
This is Tom Jefferson. I believe he's the first guy listed on the study. He works at Oxford as an epidemiologist. Quote,
Okay.
there is just no evidence that they make any difference, full stop, referring to masks. Someone then asked about N95 masks and lower quality surgical, stuff like that. Quote, makes no difference, none of it.
That's what's up. I'm very uninterested in his opinion. Right.
Well, he conducted this study.
It's a meta-analysis. Do you know what a meta-analysis is?
Yes, it's the most rigorous and comprehensive study that has been conducted on the efficacy of masks.
That's a no. A meta-analysis gathers entirety of different studies and puts it together. And they did it in
as
this.
I just said, the most comprehensive study that's
This
been
is
done on
not
the efficacy of masks.
this is not the most comprehensive study that's been on the efficacy of masks. This is how I know
it is.
you not. This is not what do you mean? You can't just say that. You can't just say that. You cannot just say that without provide me evidence that this is the most rigorous study ever done on masks.
Find
Do
me
that,
one
please.
that has more information than this one does.
What do you mean? What does that mean?
So
Find me one that has
okay.
What does that
You
mean,
can
my nigga?
tell what did you glean from this that was not masks do nothing?
Masks do not do nothing. And the fact that you say that lets me know that you have an isolated understanding of this topic. Like masks do nothing. That's insanity.
You just
bro.
keep saying that. So tell me what.
Okay, hold on, because I highlighted it and then I had to scroll because I was continuing to read it. Oh shit, I scrolled way too far. In their own, let me go back to the study then.
We're gonna get to the bottom of this.
It's already.
It's sad to say I've gone not that long, and now Big T believes the New York Times.
When they are saying that masks did
liberal
nothing,
rag.
you know, they're 3 years behind, but they finally said something truthful.
Hold on, let me find it. I just had the shit.
Who's more liberal, Big T, the New York Times or AT&T?
What did AT&T do?
I just saw when Trump was speaking yesterday, he said AT&T was run by lunatic far left people, and I'm pretty sure they're like extremely right wing. So it was just very funny.
Oh, I hadn't seen that, but for sure the New York Times.
one of my favorite things was whenever Trump like rehashes an old rivalry that he has with somebody from back when he was like doing The Apprentice. He was mad at Rihanna for something, right? He was like, no talent, Rihanna, just like out of nowhere. I think it was even before the Super Bowl, but he was mad at her for, I don't know, saying something negative about him when he was working at NBC.
Man holds a grudge.
Yeah.
And he keeps adding N-words to the list. There's not
That's true. That was
back in my day there was one. Now he's up to 3.
Yeah. He's like, they're both bad, but this one, the big N bomb, the nuclear bomb, we don't like to talk about that N-word.
You can't say one of them. You can't say one of them. But you shouldn't say the other one either.
Okay.
I can't find out where it says. So in the study, what they actually cite is that we can't draw any firm conclusions because of their methodology and how they conducted the study. They say that in their own study.
Every study says if there's more information in the future,
No,
that
they
is
said
more
we cannot.
conclusive
No.
than this.
They didn't. No. They said we cannot draw firm conclusions. They said that. If you read it, that's what they said. So you're gonna find one-off epidemiologists. You're gonna find one-off mRNA experts that have a certain feel about masks, about this vaccine, about all of that shit. But I'm very uninterested in their opinion. I'm interested in the overall and overarching understanding that we have and what the evidence suggests. And this doesn't suggest that. This has a limitation in how they conducted it. If you look at it, this is the shit you gave me, fam, and you couldn't tell me what the limit is. I'm about to tell you what the limit was. The limit in this study did not look at how it affects the virus coming out of the mask. It only they focused on how people get infected by it. And so when you're struggling with understanding these studies, you read the headlines, this is what you get. You just told me masks don't work. And there's mountain loads of evidence that say otherwise. Mountain, you gave me a one-off study, a meta-analysis that does not even prove your point because you didn't fucking read it.
No, you keep saying shit like that. It's not. Tell me why it says this then. We included 12 trials comparing medical and surgical masks versus no masks to prevent the spread of viral respiratory illnesses, 2 trials with healthcare workers and 10 in the community. Wearing masks in the community probably makes little or no difference to the outcome of influenza-like illness or COVID-19-like illnesses compared to not wearing masks. That is the main conclusion of all of these studies.
Okay, so
it's not. Okay, they also say, hold on, they also say in that study, if you keep reading further and not just read the first thing you see, if you keep reading further, they also say that there's a big issue with the data that they collected because people do not wear their masks correctly. Did you get to that part?
Yes, I saw that.
You did. So how can you
you've said this whole time.
Hold on.
No, because you're just shitting on me. You make no points.
That is the point.
No,
what the fuck are you talking about?
His last point you didn't even counter.
They're literally admitting in the study that you gave me that they cannot come to any firm conclusions. One part being because they didn't account for the respiratory going outwards, only inwards. That's one. 2, that they cannot account for everybody wearing masks incorrectly. Dog, if I give you a condom and you only put it on halfway, it might not work. And then you're going to tell me condoms don't work. That's what you're saying. And they're admitting it in their study that you gave me.
Every scientific study is going to say something to the effect of, we cannot say with 100% certainty that, yes, there are variables that lead to different outcomes in the information.
That's
very different.
Let me jump in real quick because the point Arian brought up of it was studying whether or not wearing a mask stopped you from getting the virus. And there is a difference between whether it stops you personally from getting the virus if you're wearing a mask, as opposed to if you currently have the virus, will it slow down the spread? I'm not saying stop because I don't think I haven't read anything that says that masks will completely stop the spread, but will it slow down the spread and make it less likely that you will infect other people? So like when they show the videos of somebody blowing vape through a mask and being like, look, masks don't work. Yes, obviously there's holes in masks and shit's going to get out for sure. And especially like when you're vaping through it, there's a ton of stuff, but there's also some stuff that's being stopped.
There's a
when it
lot of
goes out.
stuff that's being
So
stopped.
it sounds like that's what this is saying in the study. They were testing it to see if you personally wearing a mask, if that helped you prevent yourself from contracting COVID.
This is what's wrong,
It doesn't.
and what bothers me about America and people in America. They're scientifically illiterate. You'll read this study, and you'll say, "See, masks don't work." Rather than getting into the actual data, I don't even read. I skimmed over it and found holes in what you're saying. I skimmed over it. If I sit here and dig this apart, which I can do in about an hour and a half, I will absolutely do and show you why what you're saying is ridiculous. But it also shows that you have done no extra digging. And like all you have to do is go to Google Scholar and see the mountain loads of evidence that say not only do masks work, they're necessary. If masks don't work, doctors in surgery rooms are fucking stupid. That's what you're saying. All over the world.
Using a surgical mask to stop a respiratory illness as opposed to performing a surgery is not the same thing.
Explain why.
Because respiratory illnesses are spread in aerosols, not droplets. First of all, droplets are what they're trying to prevent from contracting during surgery. Secondly, there's blood flying and shit.
There's blood flying out of your mouth?
There's blood flying out of where you're performing a surgery.
How bad do you think that is? Surgery?
So you're saying doctors wear masks so blood don't get in their mouth?
Some, yeah.
I think
that's fucking.
I saw a surgeon say that. I saw a surgeon say that.
I think there's probably some truth to that. You wear the mask to prevent.
Arian, I just have one question. I knew this was a huge mistake. I knew it was a mistake, and I did it anyway. Why? So why did they say in the study then?
Mistake. It's absolutely a huge mistake.
Yeah, because you don't look at evidence. You're so. Publications like the New York Times are now admitting that this is nonsense.
They are not. And even if they are,
this is what bothers me. Hold on.
Okay, no. I just have one question. I have one question. Then you can say whatever you want.
The New York Times publishes op-eds. Do you know what an op-ed is?
Yes, dude. Stop with this.
It's a fucking opinion piece. So for you to say the New York Times is it's just not true, though.
Okay, that's fine.
And that's what you guys saying is not true.
That's fine. No, it's not. No, it's not. You are wrong. You are wrong.
It literally says that, dog.
No, it says it has qualifiers that any scientific study would have.
No,
it doesn't say we are.
Let's be honest, dog. How much scientific studies do you read?
You're right, Arian. I don't sit at home for 3 hours a day and read studies. How many do you read?
I do a lot. I do.
Okay, that's good. I'm glad.
And I'm telling you, there's a difference between qualifiers and them saying this is a very general outline of what we believe that's happened. And they admit their limitations. They're saying people don't wear masks correctly. So if you're not wearing your mask correctly and we do a study saying masks don't work, and in your mind, that is okay. That's good.
That is in diametric opposition to what they say their findings are.
I don't understand. I don't understand what you don't.
So tell me, then I completely understand what you're saying. Tell me why they say wearing masks in the community makes little to no difference.
It depends on what they're talking about. Outside, that's probably true.
They said they did it with healthcare workers in healthcare settings. It made no difference.
That's not true. They don't say that.
Yes, they do. We conducted studies with healthcare workers and in communities.
So why are you not? Why are you
not? Numbers. You said it was 10.
Why are you not?
That was one of the. I think there's 72 total, but that was the first part of it. Yes.
Even if that's the case, why are you not taking into account what they're saying?
I do.
You don't. They're saying what we found was a lot of people don't wear masks correctly, and if that's the healthcare workers included, if that is the case, then how can you speak to the efficacy of how they work if they're not being put on properly? Explain that to me.
I don't think the conclusion of the study was every person who's ever put on a mask wore it incorrectly.
That's so fucking silly, dog. And this is why I can't take you seriously.
Okay.
I think it's just that's silly. That's silly as shit.
I'm disappointed by this.
I think that
and
if it's become a universal truth, not universal, but if it's known that if you do try to enforce a mask mandate, you do so knowing that people will not wear the masks correctly, you could then extrapolate to say that mask mandates do not work because people don't wear masks correctly. And that might be the case. Also, Big T, you do have to acknowledge the fact that they're talking about getting the virus yourself as opposed to spreading it.
No, he's not gonna acknowledge that. Why would
That
he
was
acknowledge
those are
that?
two different
That's
things.
fucking silly. It's
That was the point
silly.
Arian tried to make that you glossed over. He was saying if you're the only person wearing a mask in a room of 50 people with COVID, yeah, you'll probably get COVID. If everyone in that room has a mask on, you have a far less likely chance of getting COVID.
And that's
the study itself admitted they did not take into account at all.
that's the shit that bothers me is when you're dealing with a population who is scientifically illiterate and don't give a fuck about science either, right? And pretend to. That's what bothers me. When you're dealing with stuff like this, you're not dealing in absolutes. You're dealing with probability. Period. And so if I'm in a room with 100 people, the probability of me getting it, if everybody has a mask, exponentially drops. And every study says that. Every single study will say that. But you'll see this and you won't take into account the limitations of the study. You won't take into account what they admit, which is you can't draw any firm conclusions. You're drawing a firm conclusion on what they say don't draw a firm conclusion on. That is the definition of confirmation bias, family. It's the definition.
You know
That's come on, dude. You the confirmation bias.
That's
you.
I can't say it in any other like
Saying-
how you gave me a study that I read and that study says we can't draw any firm
this
conclusions.
is the last
and
thing,
you
'cause
draw
this is-
you draw a firm conclusion and you're telling me I have a confirmation bias. That is fucking asinine.
Let me respond to that.
Asinine.
Let me respond to that.
Please do.
I am willing to acknowledge that their inability to say with 100% certainty their findings are absolutely correct, which happen.
Get the fuck out of
That's what they say. They say, here is the evidence we found that masks don't really work. However, there are several limitations that prohibit us from saying this definitively, which any study would say.
Cool.
Okay.
And that was the Tennessee Minute.
I would like to issue a retraction on something that I said because it's absolutely wrong. Surgeons do wear masks to stop blood platelets from getting in. Not platelets, stop blood from getting in. But it is not that was my take from it. And why I originally said it wasn't the case was because that's not the only reason. They also do it because of bacterial and viruses all across the world. But I was wrong about scoffing at that. I just want to put that pin in there. You know how Billy did his retraction because he was wrong? I was absolutely wrong on that. There. Boom.
All right.
Fair enough.
Thanks for joining, Coley.
Yeah, man. Who brought that shit up? Why the fuck we
Me.
talking about that shit? Damn it, Coley.
What a masterful job by the McMahon.
Right? God damn.
All time pot stirrer.
No, it was me and I regretted it as I did it.
Did you guys talk about the orb in Japan?
Yes.
We did, yeah. My theory was that it's whale puke and they were going to turn it into perfume
Interesting.
because that's what they do. Did you know that about whale puke?
Of course.
Yeah.
Didn't. That's why all those Japanese spear fishermen are out there.
They smell great.
Hunting them down. Yeah. I'm hoping there's just like a giant clam down there, or oyster. I guess oysters are the one with the pearls.
Yeah.
So just like a fucking huge one.
I like that. Like the oyster version of the giant squid.
Yeah, like just scary enough, but not all that scary either.
There's nothing scary about a huge oyster, just the fact that it's massive.
You wouldn't get too close to it though.
I would not. No, I definitely wouldn't.
No.
I know you have to get back to being a dad, kind of a lame excuse, but do you have any takes on Atlantis? Because we're going to get into Atlantis.
You haven't even started Atlantis?
No. You know this podcast. Come on, Coley.
No, you're right. You're right. I don't know. I thought typically when I leave shows, they tighten up. They get shorter. in length. Atlantis. I mean, I'm in on Atlantis. I hope it exists. I know every once in a while they claim they've found it, which I don't believe, but I think it's a good thought. I think Disney didn't do a great job representing Atlantis. I think that movie was a miss. I think they could have done a lot better job there. Maybe they should run that back now that we're talking about it.
Act like
I would like a real world
Hulk.
Atlantis. That would be lit, like some CGI type. That's why I feel. Well, that's why I feel Black Panther 2 dropped the ball. They didn't get into. I forget the antagonist's name, the Mexican cat.
Namor.
Yeah, I feel like they didn't get into his world enough. You know what I mean? Like, cause like they went down there for a little bit, and I was like, yo, that is fire. But they didn't really I think they missed right there because that shit was mad interesting. They just
I also had to rewrite the script because things happen in the real world. So I don't know.
I'm in troll. But it was objectively worse than Batman one. Black Panther one. It's objectively better than every Batman. Fuck that shit.
All right. Well, thank
You
you.
don't even like the movies.
Yeah,
I know you're
Batman.
on Batman.
Okay, there's one Batman that is fire.
Legend.
Two. Of course, the Legend one and the one right after that. Those movies were fire and probably
With
better
Bane?
than Black Panther 2. Yeah, but Bane. Those two are. Other than that, it's the exact same Batman movie with worse actors. Like, you know what I mean? Like the jaunt with the it's nostalgic, but the jaunt with Arnold Schwarzenegger and
Mr. Freeze.
Tommy Lee Jones and all that shit. Like them shits is whack. Run it back. Them shits is horrible, dog. Them shits is.
They got a
ass.
Prince soundtrack for one of those. That was all right.
Did they?
Yeah, Prince and a whole Batman soundtrack. Let me make sure I'm getting this right.
On the Arnold Schwarzenegger one?
No. I think it was one right before that. I think it was a Jim Carrey one, wasn't it?
That was
Riddler.
Prince.
The Riddler?
That was Batman and Robin, the one with Chris O'Donnell, Alicia Silverstone.
Yeah.
That was
I don't
Prince?
remember.
Let me pull it up. Prince, Batman. Nope, not Bastard. Batman. Studio album by Prince. Batman.
Shout out to that.
The 1989. So it wasn't either of those two. It was before that. So that would have had to have been I'm going to list all of his bad movies. That was Buddy from The Founder. PFT.
Oh,
Have you seen The Founder?
yes. It was. It's that guy that I
Michael
hate.
Keaton.
No,
Michael Keaton.
it's like Joseph
No,
Gordon-Levitt.
yes. No, Big T was right. Michael Keaton.
Okay. I was thinking about-
Gordon-Levitt's
No, Joseph Gordon-Levitt?
I was confusing that with Super Pumped, the Uber movie. The Founder was about McDonald's, Ray Kroc. Yeah.
Yeah, piece of shit. Have you guys done McDonald's?
You said it like it's a drug.
No, like
Once or
for the
twice.
topic for the show that we're on right now.
We did fast food.
Okay.
Fast
Yeah, we
food.
did do fast
Hank
food,
came
yeah.
on, talked about Taco Bell.
Oh, that's right. I think that was like right after I left.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Sad.
Coley, you'll have to.
Yeah.
You will come back in person at some point when we do our
Yeah.
Constitution show. You have to be here. You have to be here for the Constitution show.
Is that in July? Is that what we decided?
July? Yeah, it sounds like a plan to me. Are you ever in New York? Ever?
I haven't been in a while.
Make the trip, dogs.
I'm trying to
Make the
think. I was in
trip,
Arizona. No one told me you needed like fucking asthma medicine to be in Arizona.
It's
I was
very
coughing
dry.
the whole time.
Very
so dry.
Chapped lips.
They get a lot of pollen out there. I didn't know that was a thing.
I want to do a
didn't care for
train
that.
podcast still.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
got to do that.
Like on a train?
on a train. Yeah.
Okay, I'm in 100%. And Coley, I'll let you say one more thing before you go. What do you think about the new look Big Screaming Honkers in the Dozen Trivia? You are a champion with the Big Screaming Honkers. They've remade the face of their franchise completely several times after you've left. How do you feel? How do you feel about the new look Screaming Honkers? I feel like Gia is going to be
Geo rocks.
Jeff wants a Gia Fran showdown in the finals of the Dozen because it's like the Kelseys. It's like okay, we get sibling rivalry. So if I'm putting on my Dozen rigged hat, I'm saying be on the lookout for that. But I'm curious to know what you think about BSH.
I mean, I feel bad for Francis because he just completely disgraced the legacy of Harvard in like 3 episodes. That was tough. UMass 1, Harvard 0. A lot of people were saying. But yeah, I haven't watched the new team yet. What's Clemmer, Gia, and Bob Fox? Is that
Yep.
the big 3? And Mincy got shipped off.
Flux.
Elsewhere.
That might be
as much.
It might be the skinniest big 3 of all time across any sport or competition. they're like average BMI is probably 11.
Yeah, it's low. It's low for certain. As much as I was the captain of that team, Mincy was really the heart and soul. And Bob Fox, I mean, I love Bob Fox. I'm not going to say anything negative about Bob Fox, but to see him just flanked by 2 new teammates, it's on. If they hadn't, I don't know if that episode's come out yet. Jeff texts me updates about the Honkers
Oh.
every time they play.
It's out tonight, so yeah, it'll be out by tomorrow. But yeah,
Okay,
crazy,
yes. So that,
crazy game.
them putting up 18 points. That's big. You know, I think Clemmer is going to be a big piece for them, and Gia. Jeff's been touting her like a double A 19-year-old in baseball. Like, no, this is Anthony Volpe right here. This is going to save the Yankees. So we'll see. I root for the Honkers still, but I don't know. I've heard some rumblings. Certain teams might be looking for a coach, so you never know.
All right. Well, we miss you. We miss
You also
too.
didn't call me. You didn't call me. I told you I was available to be a phone a friend. Was sitting by my phone, staring at it for hours. No phone call.
We didn't need you. We won the Battle
you
of
did.
Arizona, fair and square.
Barely.
You know what?
Barely.
You know what? Next NBA question I got for the Joan. I'm gonna hit you, dog. I'm gonna let you know when we about to go, cause I'm so shit at that fucking game. I'm so bad, dog. And I'll be missing NFL questions, bro, and college football questions. Like, I don't know shit about either one.
Tough scene.
You're a vibes
But they be like,
guy.
who's the third string wide receiver in 2010? I was like, what the fuck?
Jeff,
Who keeps that information locked away, man? Like
people like me and Big T. Exactly,
facts.
people like me.
That's facts. That's facts. I'm so shit at that game.
People who didn't do it. We just watched it. Those are the people who know and Jeff weirds those questions in a way to get you to miss them. Because Jeff's a dickhead, and this is what you need to know, Arian. I'm going to give you some free advice for that show. You're not playing a trivia contest. You're playing Jeff D. Lowe.
Okay,
That's the key to the game.
Now
You're
give me
playing
more.
against him.
Give me more tips.
If you really don't know an answer, it's probably something Cleveland based.
Yep.
Okay, so study Cleveland lore.
Yeah.
Mhm.
My favorite
Okay.
type of lore.
Okay, okay, I'm in.
Trying to think. Oh, focus on PFT. Don't listen to this one.
Okay.
For the celebrity mashups, I don't know how you guys do on that, but although I watched one of your guys' mashups and you guys were like, this David Guetta song's not nearly as famous as this other way less famous song. That was funny. But no, for the celebrity mashups, study or just have a general understanding what movies just came out like the last couple weeks, because that's where he leans heavily on getting those.
Okay, like as far
PFT
as
didn't even know that one.
I didn't know
I didn't.
that. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
no,
don't.
you don't
know.
need help.
There's no
You
need.
don't need help with celebrity
for me to know.
mashups.
Fran is the goat. I think she's 18-1 on celebrity
Sure.
mashups when we double it. So I just let
Sure,
her
you don't
cook.
need
I'm
help,
just
right?
so bad with like celebrities and celebrity names, dog. Like it's just hard, man.
You were
are
like,
a
the guy who
celebrity.
played Superman's not famous. That was very funny.
He's not. Fuck that guy. And then his outline, bro. His outline looked like everybody, dog. You know what I'm saying? It's like how do you know his outline like that? It's just I don't know.
He was a generic white guy, like number 2. So I
1000%.
don't fault you for
Yeah,
that.
he had like a regular haircut, like where that's like literally the number 2 on the supercuts. You know what I mean? Or do they even have posters? I don't even know.
I don't know if they do. I've never been to a Supercuts. I don't need to. But yeah, congrats on what is this 100 or is it 1,000? How many episodes have you guys done?
Oh,
100, 1,000. That's a lot.
I don't know.
100, dog.
Congrats. That's big. They say you're not a real podcast until you get that elusive 100th episode.
Yep.
Really? Who says that?
Everyone.
I would
They?
say
That's the-
Okay.
I would say 99% of podcasts don't make it to 100. Maybe even
They don't
higher
make
than
it to
99%.
They don't make it to episode 2. 99% of podcasts. Everyone goes out, they buy the equipment, they get down, they do one episode, they never do another one. That's
Yeah.
99%.
Every time you hear of a celebrity starting a podcast, like I want to get into the podcast game, you can set your watch. Okay, they're going to get bored and not do a podcast in 3 weeks.
It's not. You don't know how much fucking work it is. It's an absolute job, dog. It is an absolute job. Like my first podcast, like I would still be pretty successful with that one if I'd have kept doing it. But I got to the point where like I sold out, 1,000% sold out. And I got to like 56 or 58 or something like that. And I got to the point where I got a really big check for it. And then I was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. It was too much work. So, but that led me here.
Grind.
Yeah, it's a super grind.
All right.
Grind.
Thank you, Coley. I'll let you get back to it. I know you're busy, man. I appreciate you making the time, though. We really do. We miss you.
Miss you.
And you're welcome to come back on whenever you want. I know that you're
And stir up shit.
doing other stuff. Yeah, actually, you know what?
We had gotten
suspending
along
Coley.
so good.
I'm suspending
before
Coley
this.
for a minimum of 2 episodes of this podcast.
okay.
So you're out.
Here.
Don't ask me. I know you're thinking about asking me if you could come back on next week. Forget about it. Sorry, man. You dug your own grave with that one. So
Now that I'm in the Discord, if I see you guys recording, I might just pop in and be like, "Hey, Big T, what do you think about Chick-fil-A open on Sundays?" And he's like, "The values of this country have gone down the shit."
I do
We're
like
way past that.
I love Coley as being the true agent of chaos, though, just like popping in whenever, just to piss everybody off and then leave.
Celtics win the title, I'll be here. I'll be here. No one cares. You just have me on a side record.
Yeah,
just
well,
talking.
you don't follow NBA news that closely because LeBron said the next 23 games are the most important of his career, and it's not in his DNA to miss the postseason twice in a row. So we'll have you on when the Lakers beat the Celtics in the finals this year.
I would be so happy if we played the Lakers in the finals. There was a bit of sweep in a while. I would love to play the Lakers.
That's crazy. There will not
Arian,
be
they're the 13 seed in the West. What are we talking about?
Hey, listen, man. I'm not happy with what the bus is doing over there. I'm not happy with it. But I mean,
You're blaming the wrong person.
Who? I'm not. Who we blaming?
The GM.
All of them. Everybody over there. Like nobody wants. You don't want to win. And so, like, I've actually checked out. And so I haven't watched the Laker game in a while. And so. I did watch the. Hey, yo, what's it to before you go? What's to this? Is there any like discord between Bron and Anthony Davis? Because when he was winning the scoring title, he was winning the all-time scoring title. Anthony Davis he really wasn't. He ain't have his pom-poms out there for the boy. So what you know about that?
His excuse was hilarious. He was like, "I didn't know he was that close. I was just trying to win a game." It's like, no, you weren't.
Crazy. That's
You're
crazy.
Anthony Davis. That's not what Anthony Davis doesn't care about winning games.
That's crazy.
That's not how this works.
That's like literally the most talked about thing in the NBA sports world in the last 20 years.
It was all
20
over the
years.
stadium. It
Come
was
on.
literally all over this. Like there was a countdown for how many points he needed, plastered everywhere, and he was just sitting there like, I don't know why everyone's recording and clapping. I could hit that shot. It's like, no, dude. Like,
yeah, he scored, and everybody running on the court. He's like, what is going on? Why is this? What's this ruckus?
that might be a future Dallas Maverick Anthony Davis.
Say word.
Little sign and trade for the guy with no shoes, Kyrie Irving.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I might be okay with that. Actually, I'm great with that.
I mean that Lakers team would just destruct in weeks. In
Nah.
weeks.
Nah, let's
Not
run it
months.
back. Let's run it back to the Believeland days,
Yeah, please.
the witness days. Let's run it back, dogs.
All right, Coley.
Fine with that too.
We'll catch you around. Coley was brought to you by our great friends over at Game Time. That's right.
Don't sell me.
No, you're being sold. You knew the deal when you came on this podcast. I'm trying to milk some of that money, some of that Mick money out of you.
Disgusting.
All right, Coley's brought to you by Game Time. We love Game Time. We do. We've used Game Time here on this podcast. Went to some Rangers games. Went to some Mets games as a podcast. You guys went to a Yankees game too, right? Tennessee, Florida. Shout out Game Time. They are the exclusive ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. It's created by fans and for fans. Game Time is a new ticketing app that makes it easier than ever to score last-minute deals on tickets to sports, concerts, and shows, and they guarantee the lowest price. They cracked the code on how to score deals on last-minute tickets. It's possible with the Game Time app. The biggest last-minute price drops can be found on the seats that you thought you could never buy. We love Game Time. They get you the best seats. It's also a super easy app to use. It's very intuitive, big pictures, easy to navigate, and very easy to send tickets to a family member, to a friend, to an acquaintance. It makes it dummy proof. Parents can use this really easily. That's the big sell that I'm going with, because if you have somebody that's not technologically literate and you send them a ticket on Game Time, they figure it out. It's super easy. The process to purchase a ticket takes just 2 taps, in 10 seconds. Once you buy your tickets, they're delivered right to your phone, no printer needed. The app also allows you to easily share tickets with friends via text so you can get into the game seamlessly. Skip the hassle, enjoy the moment. Download the Game Time app or go to the website, enter your email, and redeem code MACRO, $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. $20 off your first purchase. Some terms apply, but all you have to do is download the Game Time app or go to the website, enter your email, and use that code MACRO to get $20 off that first purchase. All right, we're back. Talking Atlantis. Let's get into a little Atlantis. Atlantis is a perhaps mythical, perhaps real underwater civilization. Now, it's not to say that people live underwater or they lived underwater, but it's known as a city that may have been flooded due to climate changing, and to this day, there are people that are actively looking for the lost city of Atlantis. There are a lot of theories on where it could be and what Atlantis was, but as far as I can tell, Atlantis, the subject of Atlantis, was first broached by a little guy named Plato. You remember him?
Mm-hmm.
Plato?
Unfortunately,
From
yeah.
school. You're not a fan?
No. I it was been years, but I used to read a lot of that shit. Plato, Socrates, all them motherfuckers.
So
Kitty
Plato,
fuckers.
Aristotle, no love for Aristotle?
I mean, all of them.
So Plato wrote about Atlantis in Timaeus and Critias. I don't know how you pronounce it. But some people say it was an allegory. Some people say it was a story that he came up with to demonstrate the danger, or to demonstrate hubris. So hubris meaning when you get too full of yourself, you think your shit don't stink, and then you get crushed by something because you're not thinking logically about yourself. So he told a story about a civilization that had everything. They were into hedonism. It was just like a big free for all, everybody having a good time all the time. And then it got wiped off the face of the earth because they didn't think about the important things like philosophy, the arts, things like that. It was just a bunch of people having a good time. So Plato was the first person to introduce the concept of Atlantis. And there are a lot of theories on where Atlantis could be, if it was real, if it wasn't real. A lot of people think that it's the Bahamas, that off the coast of the Bahamas is where Atlantis was located, because there's a bunch of stones underwater. And if you look them up, if you look up these stones, it looks like it was something real. It looks like it was something that was man-made, but there are geologists that would dispute that and say, no, shapes like this do occur in nature. And every now and again, you see pictures of giant rocks they look to be cut in almost right angles that don't look like they're real. But apparently there are movements of the Earth's plates that will, and I guess just like erosion and how geographical formations are created, that will lend themselves to these right angles. Have you guys seen those pictures of the Bahamas stones?
Yeah, the curved ones as well.
Yeah, the curved ones. What do you think?
What do you mean? What I think?
Do you think that those things are man-made, or do you think that they're naturally occurring?
There's plenty of civilizations that have been undersea, haven't there? I don't know, like plenty, but haven't there been like underwater? I would say so. Plenty was probably wrong, but hasn't there been like underwater monuments and stuff like that found?
Where? I don't know.
I mean, I could be wrong about that, but I thought there has been that have descended. Let's see.
I don't know. I do know that another theory is that Atlantis is located underneath the Atlantic shelf, or excuse me, the Antarctic shelf. So down in Antarctica, they said that there were some suspicious ruins that were found, but that doesn't really make a lot of sense. They said that it wasn't always cold down there, and that this underwater civilization, as Pangea expanded into the continents, that it expanded down to the South Pole. But that's been thoroughly debunked recently. Once we figured out how the tectonic plates actually shift, there's no chance of that. It's basically, Atlantis has been come to be described as a utopia, and there's like countless utopias that people are always searching for, like the Fountain of Youth, things like that. The Garden of Eden which I read one person thought that the Garden of Eden was in Pittsburgh. That's where the original Garden of Eden was, because there were 3 rivers that met there. And that would be very funny if Pittsburgh was actually like paradise on Earth at one point.
There are 3 rivers there.
There are 3 rivers that meet there. But as far as Atlantis goes, I don't think it was the Bahamas. I think, if I'm being honest, I feel like Plato was just like telling a story, and then people have been searching for it for a long time after that. What else have you guys read about Atlantis and possible locations?
Did you see the one in the Sahara?
I have not seen that one.
There's a 40-kilometer in diameter geological anomaly, I guess you'd call it, in the middle of the Sahara Desert. It's on the Adrar Plateau in Mauritania that people say is similar to Plato's description of Atlantis.
Okay, I'm looking it
It
up.
just looks kind of like
Oh yeah, the Eye of the Sahara.
a blue spiral.
Yeah, I did see that. I think so. People talk about the allegory of Atlantis, and it kind of symbolizes something bigger, which is the grass is always greener. So it's, people love to have the idea of, we live in a very, you could consider modern day United States to be a utopia compared to what life was like on Earth, thousands of years ago, because we have it so easy right now. You got the internet. You can get to porn in like 5 keystrokes.
I was arguing with my dad the other day, and he said something that I had to fact check live, and I was wrong about. And he was saying how foods nowadays are less nutrient dense than they were, and I was like, that sounds like bullshit. And so I checked him, and that is the fact of the matter. So food back then has less nutrients than it does today. So it's not unhealthy for you or whatever, but it has less nutrients in it than it did at one point.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of times we think of older society as being better than they were, or we just always think about like utopian. We're searching for something that's perfect. Yeah. And a lot of people don't appreciate the stuff that they have right in front of them all the time. And so I think with Atlantis, the idea of like a perfect utopia that once existed, it's very attractive for a lot of people to try to track it down and find it. There's also, it goes back to some Greek mythology where they say that Poseidon built the city of Atlantis, and there were tunnels and shit underground. That's obviously a myth in like the true sense of the term, where in Greek mythology, Poseidon created it. And there's like golden statues and stuff down there. And it was basically like Akon City, except now it's underwater. That's what they're saying. And we need to...
Akon?
Yeah, we got to follow up on Akon City. I got to find out what's happening with it. He is trying to make a utopia.
Yeah, I've heard various things about that. Didn't he wanted to make this big like kind of like a Wakanda low key, like electricity, renewable energy city, that kind of thing.
Yeah, he's trying to create a utopia in Africa. It will be self-sustaining. It'll use his own denomination of currency. I think he's creating Akon coin or Acoin, something like that. If anybody can do it, it's Akon.
Phase 1 is 2023 to 2028. Estimated 6,000 residents by 2028. Now, this says 6,000 residents and 3,000 permanent jobs. So that seems like an unideal plan to me. Unless it's only the men have jobs. I don't know.
It sounds like you're being a hater. You don't believe in Akon's vision.
It seems like the ideal vision for your city. You would have more than jobs for 50%, unless that's the plan.
We had Akon on Part of My Take like 2 years ago, and he talked about the civilization he was trying to build. We should get him on this show too. Avery, can you reach out to Akon?
Done.
To have him talk about his futuristic city, or really it's a nation that he's building.
Yeah.
Akon said to follow at Akon City News for updates, and it's literally just that one graphic that says Phase 1, 2023 to 2028, the 6,000 residents. And the rest is a lot of Pele posts from when he died. And that's about it.
One thing that lends some credence to the legend of Atlantis is that there's some ocean explorers that have found similarities between the descriptions of Atlantis and real life places. One is, Santorini in Greece. It would make sense if it was in Greece. Like I don't know how much Plato traveled around the world, how easy it was to get around. Probably took you a while if you wanted to travel to the Sahara or to the Bahamas, which I don't think they even knew existed back then. But it would make a lot of sense if it was located off the coast of Greece. Santorini is an island. It's a beautiful island. A lot of people go there on vacation. It's got black sand on the beach because there's a long history of volcanic activity. So the sand on those beaches is black. I have to imagine that's like very, very painful to walk across when it gets hot outside. But there was a massive volcanic eruption on Santorini in the Aegean Sea way, way, way back in the day. And with that massive volcanic eruption, it could have buried Atlantis under volcanic rock, as well as the ashes that settle in. And those become, what's the word, calcified? Probably not the right word, but as those become solidified over the years, it could bury a city. So some people think that it could be located in Greece, which, okay, I'm probably more on board for that than I would be on board for it being in the Bahamas. But yeah, I think I wish that Billy was still on right now because I'm sure Billy has a very strong opinion of where Atlantis is. Can you text Billy
Yep.
and just have him send us a paragraph and we'll read what Billy says?
Yeah, I was trying to get access into his doc. It wouldn't let me, but I really want to see what he has on this stuff.
Yeah, Billy did come up with a fact sheet today about Atlantis, so let me try to get in that.
Did he really?
What do you want me to text him?
Just say, can you give us a one paragraph explanation of where he thinks Atlantis is or what happened to Atlantis?
And tell him to let you into the dock too.
Yeah, we're trying to get into that now.
I just texted him.
Yeah, so really the only evidence, true evidence of Atlantis came from Plato's writings. And Plato and Socrates both like to fuck with people a lot. They would, the Socratic method was like, I'm going to state something, then you have to disagree with me and we'll debate it out and we'll see who wins. And then he was killed because he was corrupting the youth. He drank hemlock. But Atlantis was a utopian civilization, apparently a great naval power. It was made of concentric islands separated by wide moats, connected by canals that reached its center. The islands were rich in metals and minerals like gold and silver and supported exotic wildlife. It sounds a lot like the Garden of Eden. It sounds just like a lot of other utopias that we've thought about. And the Garden of Eden, as far as I know, Big T, maybe you can correct me on this, because I haven't read my Old Testament in a while. Were Adam and Eve the only people in the Garden of Eden?
Yes.
Yes.
It was just them.
Mhm.
And then
They were the first
and,
two.
And the serpent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's not a person though.
yeah, there were animals. There were animals in the Garden of Eden, and we all got along.
Yes. Is that not the Lucifer personified?
But it's not like a
Anthropomorphized?
human.
The
person.
literal, it was a literal serpent though.
That could talk.
Yes, and possibly had legs.
How's
So
that
it was like
serpent?
There's a verse.
Komodo dragon, maybe.
There's a verse that says God punished the serpent by forcing it to slither,
Oh yeah,
which some people take to believe that maybe they walked
before it was punished,
right,
then it had legs.
possibly.
Okay.
I love Billy's fact sheet so much.
I'm still not in.
He granted you access.
It's just mostly copied and pasted stuff, but there's a couple things that he puts in there on his own.
Big T, can you read Billy's fact sheet
If he lets me in.
if you can get into it?
Also,
I-
he's typing about an explanation for where he thinks Atlantis is.
I would not want to live under the ocean. I'll just say that right now. I think the land is better.
Yeah, most of this
Isn't there-
podcast is out on the ocean.
I mean,
There's
I
also like lore that
love
when you
the
go
beach.
into the ocean, like that there's parts of it that have like pockets and bubbles of air to where there's like underwater cities and stuff. I've read some lore about that as well.
yeah, I mean there probably are some air pockets under there, right?
I don't know enough about fluid dynamics.
Oceanography. I'm just gonna say for the record, if I could breathe underwater, I think the Earth, the land, has more cool shit on it.
I mean, the ocean is largely unexplored, though. How could you make that claim?
Also, I feel like you're saying that because we haven't been able to breathe underwater to put cool shit under the water.
Yeah, but at the bottom of the ocean is just all like fish skeletons, right?
You don't know that.
I guess I don't.
I don't think anyone knows that.
The problem with Billy's fact sheet is that it's organized in a way that like he would understand and I do not. So I can read you what's literally on it,
Yeah.
but I don't have the accompanying thoughts that he had when these were put to paper.
Okay.
He just sent me a text message. Do you want me to read it?
Yes.
Okay.
Billy's thoughts.
Billy's thoughts. This is for him. This is verbatim. Okay. I think Atlantis is a combination of multiple Mitch first. I don't know what the Mitch is supposed to say.
Myth.
Maybe. Myths. First being to see people who are scheduled rated H in Egypt several times, but probably developed the modern day Vikings, as these were Varys raiders who came from the sea, and the Egyptians and the Greeks all assume them to be from some very highly advanced civilization. Other meds, again, I don't know.
Okay, wait, I'm gonna translate Billy because I think Billy might be onto something here. I'm running that through my Billy translator.
Yeah, that's the first half of the first sentence.
I'm gonna spit out what he's getting at. I think what he's saying is that if you lived in a civilization and you were invaded by outsiders and they had technology that you didn't have, such as weaponry, things that they had developed in terms of their navy or their ships, you would maybe reach the conclusion that they were mythological, that they were like super powered, that they came from a super land that, you know, could be Atlantis. It could be a civilization that's dominating the sea. And you might be like, they're so good at all this other stuff. It must be a utopia that they're coming from where everything's perfect.
Okay.
And so that's why he's saying that the Atlantis myth might have been created.
Okay, so then he says, other meds, I think that we're combined with it. We're some of the ancient. Am I seeing as a Ninos, or is it Laney? And can't remember again. I don't know. But they were affected by the rising sea levels in the Mediterranean because of the Black Sea flooding due to a lot of the glaciers melting. That is the first sentence.
Okay.
All of that I just read, the whole thing, first sentence.
Okay.
A remnants of the Ice Age. The Black Sea ended up flooding the Mediterranean piece. A lot of the road, a large land, blocking the connection of the Caspian Sea and Black Sea. Direct line to the Mediterranean through the Phosphorus and flooded. The Mediterranean basically destroyed a lot of island civilizations, I think, were some of the inspiration for the planter Smith. Interesting is that Pluto talks about the timing of when Atlantis was destroyed. Exactly lines up with placed this great flood Mick. However, does have some problem with it being used by a lot of individuals who wanted to justify their rate for wanted to Jew.
Okay, got it, Billy.
That sounds like, have you seen the TikToks that are country music songs, but if you like didn't speak English?
Yeah.
Have you seen those?
No.
Yes.
It's like, got a little dare to be do, got a do, and it just like, it's country songs, but with just gibberish.
Mm-hmm.
And like, this is what it would sound like if you didn't speak English. That's what that sounded like.
Got it.
I can't tell you what any of that meant.
I think it was Billy speech to text. I think he was talking to his phone.
Yeah.
And then just letting his phone cook on it.
That's probably right.
His speech to text must be all kind of fucked up on his phone. All right, so Billy kind of touched on what we talked about a little bit, which was,
Did he?
I think so, the Mediterranean.
Yeah.
That it could match up with, since Plato was talking about it, it could match up with it being somewhere in the ancient Greek Isles that were flooded at some point. It is crazy to think that the Caspian Sea and the Black Sea and the Mediterranean were all connected at some point.
Yeah.
Just a shitload of water out there.
Did those become different when Pangea stopped being a thing?
Those were glaciers. So
okay.
giant glaciers melted, and that's why the Caspian Sea exists.
Okay.
And people sleep on the Caspian Sea for some reason.
I've heard it's great.
Caspian Sea seems like a cool place to go on a vacation. It's got a lot of resorts there, but also it gets slept on as a lake because it's called the Caspian Sea.
But it's a lake.
It's got tides because it's so massive, but it's a lake. It's the biggest lake in the world. But people are like, oh, it's not really a lake because they call it the Caspian Sea. Check yourself a little bit. Like if Lake Superior is a lake, Caspian Sea is the same type of lake, just way, way, way bigger.
I mean, even Lake Erie has tides.
Does it?
Yeah.
Lake Erie. Do you swim in Lake Erie?
I don't. I actively choose not to. People do.
Are there beaches?
Yeah. I like the house that my dad wants to bring us all to. We live like right next to a beach.
The Joint?
The Joint? Yeah. The Joint has a beach. Yeah. There's beaches. Again, maybe don't want to like lay out on them and like hang out. But
Yeah.
there's sand and and then it goes into water.
Big T, are you able to get into any of Billy's takes here?
So it's a numbered list. The first three just say Mid-Atlantic continent, Bermuda Triangle, and Antarctica. I'm assuming there's a story for each of those.
Mhm.
I don't have those for you. I guess these are his proposed locations. Fourth says Black Sea flood or Great Flood myth. I assume that's part of what he talked about or had his phone attempt to talk about.
Yeah.
Oh, the Mid-Atlantic continent. I think he's saying that there used to be something in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean.
Okay.
Like a piece of land that turned into Atlantis.
Yeah, it was Atlantis, and then it got swallowed up in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, which it's fun to think about. There is the Mid-Atlantic, what's called the Mid-Atlantic Shelf, which is at the bottom of the ocean in the middle of the Atlantic. There's a crack that goes like all the way up and down the entire Atlantic Ocean, and out of this crack, there's new rock that's being produced every single year, and it comes to the surface through this crack. And as the continents drift apart, it's just brand new rock that's being created constantly underneath the middle of the ocean. And so it's just kind of like, I guess it's like a moving sidewalk. You could think of it that way. You know, at the end of the moving sidewalk, or when you get on at the start of the moving sidewalk, you've got some new tread that's coming up from underground, and then you step onto it, and then you walk across. That's what's happening on both sides of the Mid-Atlantic Shelf. It's new tread on the bottom that's being created underneath the ocean and expanding. So the Atlantic Ocean is expanding.
I didn't know that. That's actually wild.
Probably by
Didn't
a
know
few inches. I don't know, like few inches, a foot per year. I don't know the exact amount, the rate that it expands, but that's what's happening there.
This is a bonus kind of teed off. Do you agree that people who stand on moving sidewalks should go to jail?
No, you can stand to the right.
They're making those things slim now.
Yeah, they are. I've noticed that. Some of the new airports, it's tough to get by.
It's a
especially
lane and a half.
if you got a suitcase.
Yeah.
Yeah, in an airport, if you're not in a hurry in an airport, you should probably walk. Because
I don't
those should be
understand
reserved for
standing
people
on
that
it.
are hustling.
I don't understand standing on it anyway. It's like
Take a
I feel
break.
like, yeah, you like you're in a layover. You're like, I'm so goddamn tired. I just need to rest for a second.
Just be aware. That's all I'm saying. Is
you're
you
walking
should be aware.
to a sea of chairs. It's just nothing but chairs as far as the eye can see.
That's true. And you were just on a moving
And you're
chair.
delaying yourself getting there.
Have some awareness. If there are people around you, don't stand still. But if if there's no one around, yeah, take a little time.
I guess if there's nobody else, sure.
Yeah, take a load off. Just let the machine do the work. But I'm in favor of having those moving walkways in more places.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be fine
They
with
should
that.
be bigger. Yeah, they should be bigger too.
What about this idea, Aaron? You'll like this. Moving walkways on golf courses.
No,
Okay.
He likes the aspect of walking on the golf course.
it's what it's for.
There needs to be like a service at the airport where you can pay like extra money for like one of those golf carts to pick you up and take you to your next gate. Especially if you have like a connecting flight.
Mm-hmm.
You know, let's just say it costs like $30 and you pre-book it. They know that you're flying in. They're ready to pick you up right from the gate.
I don't hate that. I don't hate that idea.
I like it a lot too.
I kind of like walking through.
Maybe
it.
I'm onto something.
Have you ever been to an airport when you have a foot injury? Aaron, you probably have.
Oh yeah, all the time.
So
Oh, yeah.
how nice is it? You're no pain whatsoever, and you can get around a little bit, but they treat you like a king once you get there.
Yeah.
They put you on the cart, drive you
Yeah.
around. Those
Wait
things,
for you.
I'm shocked that more people don't get run over by those carts because they wait
They do
until
a pretty good job of letting you know they behind you though. They ain't scared to be like, hey, move, cart.
Yeah, but every time that happens, I turn around and it's right on my heels.
Yeah, they honk
yeah.
late.
They do. They honk very late.
But they
They
honk.
be on your bumper for sure.
But yeah, if I could give any sort of travel hack, I would say just break your foot before you go on a long trip.
Or fake it. Get some old crutches, dust them off in the garage, get some old crutches and say, hey, can I get a lift to gate C3, please?
Because then you also get through TSA quicker. I just dealt with that this weekend.
Yeah.
You get to cut everyone.
I'd like to give a shout out, if we're talking TSA, shout out to the Arizona, the Sky Harbor Airport. Day after the Super Bowl. Did I tell you guys about this when I
No.
zoomed in from Cabo? They got their shit down. That's like the worst travel day of the year is the city that the Super Bowl's in, the Monday after the game, that morning. Buddy, you better get there like 2.5, 3 hours early, and it's going to be packed. Security's going to be hell. Sky Harbor Airport absolutely nailed it. It was so easy. Walked in. There was a guy that was standing at the clear check-in area, and so I went up to him, and he's like, do you have clear? I said, yeah. And he just handed me a pass and then walked me to the front of the line. Didn't even do like the eye check or anything. They were just assuming that anybody that would say, yes, they have clear would say that because there's an expectation that they would do the whole test to make sure that you are who you are. No, this guy was just like, here's your pass.
Honor system.
Honor system.
I think
Love
most
that.
things in life work that way.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, this guy's probably telling the truth.
Yeah. If you do
Confidence.
anything with enough confidence.
Confidence is key. If you look like you're supposed to be there, ain't nobody gonna check you. Unless you got somebody who has a little or a lot more less confidence than you, they might check you because they don't feel confident. That sometimes happens. You be like, hey man, I'm supposed to be here.
Yeah.
Happens all the time.
I get checked for stuff a lot if I go to a sporting event and we have good seats and we're on the job, so we have some sort of access. People see me coming, they're like, that guy's not supposed to be here. I stand out. I have big time not supposed to be here energy sometimes. That's why I got kicked out of the dog show and arrested.
That story is hilarious.
Yeah, I was actually just thinking when I was at the Super Bowl about the Super Bowl in Atlanta when I got arrested at that one. I've been arrested a couple of times on the job, but it was at media night, and I was asking just dumb questions to everybody, and I was not supposed to be there. I had a forged credential that I snuck in on, and the security staff came out and they got me, and they escorted me back through the tunnels of whatever it was like. What's the basketball stadium in Atlanta?
It used to be Phillips Arena, now it's State Farm.
Yeah, State Farm.
I refuse to call it. It's Phillips Arena.
Okay, Phillips Arena.
Yeah.
And I was escorted through the concourse there, and they took me to a back room and they sat me down, and an FBI agent came back there and interrogated me. I got, like, no joke, interrogated by the FBI for about an hour. I was sitting in this chair. This guy was asking me questions like, how did you get in? I was like, I just made my own pass.
Was there a one-way mirror?
There was not.
Oh,
It was in like a back. I wish it was like an actual interrogation
yeah,
room.
that'd be sick.
It was like a storage facility that they had me in the bowels of the Phillips Arena. And the guy was asking me, how'd you get this credential? Well, there's pictures of credentials online everywhere. So I saw that. And then I had somebody make a Photoshop of it at Barstool. And then we did it. And the guy's like, what's the person's name that did the Photoshop? And they were like trying to get names out of me because they thought I was like a terrorist. I was like, dude, I'm just in here to ask stupid questions.
Did you snitch?
That's it. I did not snitch at all.
Who was it?
They did let me out like a hour and a half later, so you can draw your own conclusions. I might be wearing a wire right now. I'm not going to
shot
say.
me.
Good.
I'm not going to say who made the Photoshop, but the FBI was very, very interested to know names. And it's like, dude, there's literally nothing less important than trying to figure out how I got my credential. If you're thinking like this is a security issue, and eventually I think the guy realized that I'm not trying to like blow up the place. I'm just trying to ask Todd Gurley when he's going to get that cat that he promised America he was going to get. But yeah, that was. I haven't been arrested in a while. I kind of got the itch.
Time to ramp up some plans. I'm down.
You haven't
I'm
been.
down to watch you get arrested. I ain't trying to get arrested, bro.
You've been detained. You haven't been arrested.
Detained, yes, detained.
Okay.
But I was not allowed to leave.
Were you in
Yeah.
cuffs?
I was not in handcuffs. They had their arms on, like I had a guy that was holding one arm on one side, a guy holding another arm. Not like hard, but they were like, they had their hands on me and they were guiding me. And this one guy pushed me out of the arena, like in the top of my back, just gave me a little shove. And
As a cop?
security, I think it was a security person at the arena.
See,
So
that would have set me off. I would have probably got arrested after that.
I wore a neck brace for the rest of the week just to spook them, to make them think that maybe they injured me.
Have you ever been for real arrested?
Yes, I have.
For real?
I've been for real arrested. Yeah, drunk in public. St. Patrick's Day.
Were you like 20?
2000. Young. I was 2004. St. Patrick's Day.
Okay, so you were like young.
Really young.
High school.
College, my freshman year.
First year, then, yeah.
So I was walking home from a St. Patrick's Day party. It was probably 2:33 in the morning, something like that. And I was by myself, and I was walking down a sidewalk to get back onto campus. I was like right across the road from our campus on Main Street. And cop just pulled over. I wasn't stumbling or doing anything. I was just walking alone, and it was late at night on St. Patrick's Day, and my hair had like green spray in it. I was wearing like an Ireland jersey. I was very, very clearly coming home from a St. Patrick's Day party. And so the cop just pulled up to the side of the road, and he gave me a field sobriety test, which I aced, by the way. I nailed it. And then he asked me to blow into the breathalyzer, which I refused because I knew my rights. But then using his cop magic and also me being stupid, he got me to blow into the breathalyzer. And when I did, I didn't even blow hard. I was just going like that because I was like, they'll never catch me if I don't actually blow. This is the perfect crime. Mm-hmm. And he's like, you're not blowing. It whistles when you blow. And so then after I refused to blow in it, he took me back to the station. And then eventually I took the breathalyzer maybe like 30 minutes later. Again, because I'm dumb. I shouldn't have done that because then I would have been able to say, no, I wasn't inebriated. And I blew a .28, which is...
God damn.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
3.5 times the legal limit.
But
Damn.
I was functioning. And the guy was like...
How?
I told him I had a couple beers. He goes, a couple beers my ass. And then he threw me... I got thrown in the drunk tank. And I started working out. I started like doing push-ups. And they came by. They're like, "Why are you doing push-ups?" And I was like, "I'm in jail. I'm just trying to work out."
Wait, why was he on you in the first place? What was you doing?
I did not do anything. I was walking down the sidewalk. I wasn't stumbling. I was walking home. I was on the phone with one of my friends actually. I was like, "I gotta go. I think I'm getting arrested." So I didn't do anything. I was not endangering anyone else. I wasn't doing anything out of line. Just walking. And so then they put me in the cell. And I stayed there until I blew a .00 because I was underage. And so I didn't get out until about 2:00 in the afternoon the next day. And then I walked back through campus. I had to walk back to my dorm through like the entire campus. And I still had like green hairspray and I was wearing all green. And it's the day after St. Patrick's Day at like 2:30. And everybody knew. They're like, well, this guy didn't go home last night very clearly. So $89 fine. I think it got expunged. But yeah, I think it was drunk in public or public intoxication / profanity, because in Virginia at the time it was like it's the same charge to have public intoxication, and like swearing loudly in public would also be the same charge. So
those seem incongruent with each other.
Yeah, they do. Like I didn't know that you could be charged with swearing loudly in public. But apparently it was a law. It might still be a law in the books in Virginia.
That's so fucking silly, dog.
That's so
They had a quota or something, bro.
Oh yeah,
Like-
yeah. They saw me and they're like, okay, here's a quick $100.
Damn.
So, yeah. So I guess that was the only time I've actually been
Real arrested.
real arrested.
My run of 8 years of not getting pulled over ended on Monday
Oh damn.
In
Yep.
the Bronco.
in the Bronco. Didn't get a ticket though. Guy was cool. He actually owned a Bronco. We talked about it for like 5 minutes on the side of the road. Me and the state trooper. He's like, "Yeah, nice car." He's like, "When'd you get it?" Just whole conversation. Didn't give me a ticket. Great dude. Shout out New Jersey State Troopers.
Arian, how does that square with interactions you've had with the police, or how you would expect those? Because I remember when Billy said he got pulled over one time for speeding, and the cop was like, maybe just listen to podcasts instead of listening to heavy metal music, and send him on his way.
Gave him a career. No. Yeah, no, mine have not been troublesome since I got moderately recognizable. But I also, the fear of like going to jail is eradicated as well, because it's like in my mind, I'm just gonna bail out. Like, you just wasted my time. And
Yeah.
so that changes my interaction with them. So I'm a little bit more, what the fuck are you doing, fam? Like, leave me alone. Like one time, like this nigga, we in the off ramp, right? We in the off ramp, and it's like hella backed up. And I'm trying to get in, nobody gonna let me in, nobody let me in. I finally get it open, and then I cut in. And as we going into the off ramp, this dude goes like this, and so I pull over, and it's the cops, and so they just pulling people over. And he's like, "Do you know why I pulled you over?" And I'm like, "Probably because you caused a traffic jam, fam. Like, what do you like? Why? Like, why?" He's like, "Because you made an unsafe lane change." I'm like, "It's because you're causing a traffic jam, doing this stupid shit." I was like, "What are you doing?" And so he and I had my window cracked, and so I was being a dick for sure. He was like, "Give me your license and registration," and I took like no lie, like 7 minutes. 7 minutes of just sitting there silently, looking through my shit. Pretending to look through it and waiting to give it to him. I was being an asshole for sure. But and then he was being an asshole back. He took a long time back. So I didn't mind that. But it was just silly. He was wasting everybody's time, so I decided to waste his. But before that, I've had really bad interactions with the police, like where it's like them niggas was doing faulty. I've seen them do some foul shit for sure.
You guys want to get back to a little Atlantis talk here?
You got anything else?
Yeah, I got something here. The Minoans. It could have been the Minoan civilization.
This is in Billy's sheet as well.
It is. I'm reading Billy's sheet.
Oh, got it.
It was named after King Minos, believed to be Europe's first great civilization. The Minoans built splendid palaces, constructed paved roads, and were the first Europeans to use a written language at the height of their power. However, the Minoans suddenly disappeared from history. An enduring mystery that has fueled belief in a link between this great doomed civilization and Plato's Atlantis. Historians believe around 1600 BC, a massive earthquake shook the volcanic island of Thera, triggering an eruption that spewed 10 million tons of rock, ash, and gas into the atmosphere. Tsunamis that followed were large enough to wipe out Minoan cities throughout the region, devastation that might have made the Minoans vulnerable to invaders from the Greek mainland. That kind of falls in line with the Santorini stuff, where it's talking about the volcanic eruptions. Because think about, like, nowadays, if there's a big earthquake that happens in a less developed country, like not a country that has building codes, like Japan, I know, has pretty rigorous codes that they have to enforce. The United States does. Other countries do too. But, like, for example, the earthquake in Haiti, or the earthquakes that have been happening, I guess, over the last 20 years in Turkey, those earthquakes wipe out buildings like immediately. They just crumble into dust, and they basically disappear. Now think about 3,000 years ago, what kind of buildings people were living in back then. It makes sense that if there was a giant earthquake and an ensuing tsunami, that it could wipe an entire civilization off the face of the earth. If their civilization was located to, one specific place that was next to an ocean or a sea, and then you'd never hear from them again. I don't think that it means that it was a utopia where everything was perfect, but that's absolutely happened where places have just been completely wiped out, which is, I don't think that there's anything on Earth like that. I don't think any place is in danger of being like completely wiped off the face of the planet, unless... I haven't heard so much about the San Andreas Fault recently.
I was going to say California.
What's been going on with that? That was a real hot topic when I was growing up in the 90s, 2000s.
The big one?
The big one. At some point, California is going to break off into the ocean. I guess they made that movie with The Rock about it.
That's my mom's greatest fear. She won't let me live in California.
Because of an earthquake?
No, because she's like, California's falling into the ocean in the next 5 to 10 years.
5 to 10?
Yeah, she's hot on their trails. So she would never let me move to California.
All right.
They've been talking about the big one for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a matter of time.
I think it's going to happen, though.
I mean, eventually,
Like,
probably.
Yeah, but it'll like building cities on the fault line is insane anyway, but it's probably gonna happen. I don't know. I don't think that.
How big is the big one?
It's big.
They were saying like 7 or 8, like to 10 almost.
Like kill everybody?
They're saying
that would shake the foundation of entire cities.
So if
we're talking maybe a mil, something like that.
If there was like an 8 that hit LA, and the way that earthquakes are rated on the Richter scale, let's see if I can remember this one class that I took in college. It's logarithmic. I think that's the correct term for it. So it's an exponential increase between numbers. So the difference between a 3.0 and a 4.0 in an earthquake is minuscule compared to the difference between a 7.0 and an 8.0. So even like an 8.2 is massively bigger than an 8.0. So the higher you go, then it just gets worse and worse and worse. If there was like an 8 that hit Los Angeles, I don't think that those buildings would stand. I think that they have to be rated up to a certain point, but like a massive earthquake, a lot of them would crumble. Then you'd probably have to deal with tsunamis, which I'm terrified of tsunamis. The water gets like sucked back into the ocean. There's fish
that's the
flopping
only
around.
thing. That's the only thing I know about tsunamis is they say if you're at a beach and the water recedes at a very fast rate and it's just dry, then a tsunami's coming.
Yeah. Follow the rats, follow the birds. If they start to peace out, they know something's happening. So if that happened, California got hit by a massive tsunami and the earthquake, Los Angeles might end up being the future Atlantis. There might be like 5,000 years from now, people will be studying.
Looking for LA.
Yeah, people will be studying like American civilization. They're like, look what I found underneath the ocean, or like in the crumbles of the desert out here. And it's just LA. It's the Hollywood sign.
It had stars. They lined the streets with stars that had very important names on them.
Yeah, there was a cougar that everybody worshipped out there. What was his name?
I forget.
Yeah, so just put that in the tickler file for if you're listening to me 5,000 years
41?
from now. LA was just like there was a lot of smog and a shitload of traffic. It wasn't that great.
I believe
Although I was gonna say during COVID, I was in LA during COVID, like when it first hit, like the first like 3 or 4 months, and everything was shut down. Freeways was wide open. There was this little park that we used to go to, and you could oversee the city. The smog was gone. This shit was insane. I had never seen it like that before. It was actually fire.
Just pure clear air.
Mm-hmm.
I like California. I don't love LA.
Yeah, I don't really like LA like that either. I was literally going to move there. I had a house and everything picked out. Other shit happened, but I ended up not moving. I think it don't give me a good feel.
Is that when you were going to be a movie star?
No, this was it had nothing to do with that. I was never going to be a movie star. Although I do have the talent. You see how I set the internet ablaze with my acting skills a couple weeks back.
I did see that. That was good. I do think you should get back into acting. I think that.
Thanks, man.
I think you were good enough at it where I want to see you. I want to see you on the silver screen again. They should make Draft Day 2.
Mm-hmm. I just told my mom this weekend about how you were in Draft Day. She was shocked.
Chad died. It won't be right.
Oh, true. Chadwick Boseman.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. I was gonna say, like if they showed the end of your career and then you transitioned to becoming a general manager,
that'd be lit. Or coach, that'd be fire.
And and it's set in Montana, so Kevin Costner will be in it again.
I was gonna say,
hey, you know, it'd be
get on
fun.
the
Let's do
Yellowstone
it.
grind.
Let's do it. I'm so down to do this with you if you're down. Let's write a script for Jaffrey too.
Okay.
Like you ain't down to do this shit.
No, I'm on it. Yeah, I mean, I've already got one of the stars of Draft Day 1 attached by name to it, so I'm in.
And it would be co-write it.
Now
This could have legs.
the problem with Draft Day is if it didn't have the actual NFL logos in it, if it didn't have the official licenses that were applied to the movie, that movie would have sucked. But because it had, I was looking at like a Browns helmet and a Jaguars helmet, and they had all the team names. I was like, this movie's awesome. This is just like the real thing.
It gave it a little fervor for sure. But it was a good script, dog. The way it flipped at the end, I didn't hate it, man. When I first read the script, I was like, that wasn't bad. And then how they did it, I also liked like the graphics and shit that they used, like for each city. That was very inviting.
Yeah,
that was dope.
And listen, if we do Draft Day 2, we could just write into history like the Cleveland Browns had a dynasty and they won 7 Super Bowls.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
And at least people in Cleveland would go see that just to
easily.
Just
I think we can corner that market for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, we're making a movie just for Cleveland.
Hell yeah.
Do it.
All right, respect. But Draft Day 2, yeah, I'm down. I'm down to work on it.
Let's do it.
I'm trying to think of what storylines your character could take. What was your character all about? I forget.
a bad
I was
boy.
like like a little bit. I was a hothead coming out, but I was very I was emotional. I was, very grateful, but I was a hothead a little bit.
And his dad was Terry Crews.
My dad was Terry Crews.
Yeah, what was Terry Crews like?
It was really cool, man. He's the one that made me most comfortable on set. I think I told the story before, but he was like, when I first got there, I was super intent on I don't want to be the football player here because I'm the football player. I wanted to be, I didn't want to waste anybody's time. You know what I'm saying? So I was I knew my lines. I was not gonna fuck up. And so as we start in our first scene, he fucks up. He fucks up a couple of times, and I'm like, what the fuck you keep fucking up? And then we take a break, and he's like, hey, you're really good at memorizing your lines. And I told him what I just told y'all, and I was like, I just didn't want to. And he's like, I mean, I respect it, but nah, fuck up. He's like, fuck up, man, because say it just gets the jitters out. It just you get to play with the role a little bit, do different things. Fuck up on purpose. It's okay. He said that film ain't going nowhere. So he really made me more comfortable in the scene and stuff. So shout out to Terry.
He seems like such a cool dude.
It really is. He is who he says he is. He's super energetic, nice, calm, really good dude, man.
Love to hear that.
Draft day 2.
Yeah.
What is your character? What mischief has your character gotten into over the course of the last 9 years, 10 years?
Yeah.
What if you're an analyst now?
Ooh, I could be the analyst and show that side of that. Yeah.
Or a podcaster? A sports
That's
podcaster.
a little far fetched, don't you think?
Yeah.
Maddie's trying to get us in the movie.
You've moved into a media role, and Sonny Weaver has fallen on some hard times as the GM. Well, I'm going full 180 from what you did. The Browns have sucked. I know this is far-fetched. The Browns are not very good. Sonny Weaver's had some bad drafts, and you are now put in the position of having to criticize him by virtue of doing your job. And that leads to some tension in you and Sonny's relationship. I've not worked it out past there, but I think that's a start.
So much so that I'm criticizing him so good, but so bad in his mind, but it's very accurate criticism that he's like, yo, we got to talk. Why are you blasting me? And so we end up meeting to the minds. And then I end up giving him some ideas that he loves. So then he tries to hire me later on as the GM. That's a fire low script.
People get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to do what we just did in 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
So Sonny Weaver, how about this? He's been fired by the Browns. Arian, you've shifted into a media role, and you're talking about where they screwed up. You're like, the only good draft pick that he made was me. Look at all these Pro Bowls that I've got.
Ray Jennings.
Okay.
Before I got injured. And then you're on TV and you get a job. You end up getting hired by the Browns to be their GM. And then you hire Sonny as he works for you now.
Oh, wow.
I think we've got a couple winners here.
Yeah. I think we can't go wrong either way here.
Okay.
This is how
That'd be
Good Will
fun.
Hunting started, and now they're Oscar winners.
Yeah, but they were 23 at the time, right?
I'm 23.
Okay, yeah, good point. I forget sometimes. Not everyone in the world is my age.
So was Billy.
Yeah.
Billy's 24.
I saw this meme the other day where it said it's really weird looking around seeing all these older people that are the same age as me.
Yeah.
That's you right now, PFT.
It is. I felt old recently. Anything else we want to talk about when it comes to Atlantis?
Did you guys like the movie Atlantis? Did you?
I've actually never seen it.
Was that
Never
past
seen
your
it.
age? What?
Never seen it.
Oh, that was such a good kids movie. That was a good kids movie.
That's old,
Slightly.
though.
Yeah.
Slightly unrelated. There's this new Netflix movie that came out about a shark or some shit in the caves. What is it called?
Is it a kids movie?
It's like a little teen bop that I didn't know though. Let's see, shark movie Netflix. Anyway, I'll get the name for you in a second. Oh, there he goes. 47 meters down, uncaged.
Mm-mm.
I don't think I made it 15 minutes in the movie without it's the most corny, like tagline, high school picking on bully shit. It's just it was one of the worst opening movies I've ever seen. I didn't even make it. Then they went down into this cave, and it's just corny. So don't waste your time. Do not click on it on Netflix. 47 meters down, uncaged. It is dog shit. It's horrible.
I just thought of something about Atlantis and the way that Plato constructed the myth behind it and how he wrote it to be this very important allegory to teach people life lessons about, about hubris and about kind of knowing one's role and not getting too far over your own skis. And it was this great comparison that he was trying to teach people with. If you were Plato and you know that in like 3,000 years, people would be like searching for the actual city and completely missing the point of your entire story that you worked so hard to create, he'd be so pissed off. But that shit's going to keep happening.
But also, he probably should know that's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's true. He was a smart guy. And there's probably going to be a bunch of stuff that happens in the next couple thousand years where people completely misinterpret. They're going to think that like Batman actually happened because we made movies about it, you know? They're going to be like, I gotta go back and try to find where Gotham City was. People be searching for that shit.
The Seven Kingdoms, Westeros.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. They're going to think that Game of Thrones was a documentary and not really truly understand the concept of narrative storytelling. They're going to think you know what? Here's what's going to happen. We're creating our own Atlantis. In 3,000 years, people are going to look back on draft day 2 and they're going to say the Cleveland Browns were the NFL team of the 21st century. They're going to think that the Browns were what the Patriots really were because of this story that we're about to tell with draft day 2 and the success of the Cleveland Browns.
Gonna be lit.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
So do we have any voicemails we want to get into? We got some VMs. Before we get to voicemails, they're brought to you by the St. Patrick's Day merch drop on the Barstool store. St. Patrick's Day is coming up. We've made it easy for you to find your green outfit this year. Go to store.barstoolsports.com. Check out our St. Patrick's Day collection. It's store.barstoolsports.com. The St. Patty's Day collection is out now. We've got some macrodosing shirts in there, right? Dr. McGillicuddy's Irish whiskey, that's in there. There's a bunch of other stuff. So check it out right now. We've got some fire shirts, cool hats. St. Patrick's Day coming up. The Kiss Me I'm Pretty shirt? I saw that one up there. I might get one of those. No, because then we're back to like talking about strangers coming up and kissing you. I'm not into that. So don't kiss me. I'm not pretty.
And there's Big T Mower shirts that are green. So
I love that. I'm going to rock a Big T Mower shirt.
There's also orange if you're interested in that as well.
Yeah. Do we have any plans? Big T Mowers? Are we doing that tonight? Thursday?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
Is that the plan?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Check it out.
You want to hop in?
I think I'm free. Yeah, I'll hop in. If I'm around, I'll hop in for sure. I think I'm free.
6 to 7. Maybe a little bit longer this time.
What are we mowing?
Whatever it gives you your contract, so it's whoever needs their grass cut.
Road to Toro episode 2.
All right, let's get Big T a Toro.
We gotta step it up. We need more cash flow.
Yeah.
Coming through the business.
You don't get a lot for each lawn.
No, you don't.
How much?
Anywhere from $300 to $500 each.
You don't do it for the money.
I'm trying to upgrade my business, so I need money to do that.
Right.
He's still rocking with the base level mower.
But you're like Forrest Gump. You cut that grass for free.
I do it for the love of the game, but I owe it to my customers and my employee to upgrade the equipment.
Your employee.
Yeah.
Who's your employee?
Oh, I forget
Jessica?
I forget her name. Something like that. Yeah.
I think it's Jessica.
Does she run the office?
No, she cuts grass, does good work.
Okay, nice.
I did see
that was
someone...
misogynistic on my part.
Yeah.
To assume that
Big
she
T
wasn't
is the
cutting
biggest
grass.
feminist on this podcast.
He is.
Mm-hmm.
I
Some of
did
his best
see-
employees are
Now,
women.
can you upgrade to what you cut? Can you do like stadiums and shit like that eventually?
I don't think so. I think it's all just houses, but I'm going to buy it before we do this. Tonight, when we do this, we're going to cut grass with dinosaurs. You can...
That's the expansion pack, right?
Yeah, so I'm going to get that, and that's what we'll do tonight. I hope that's within the same game, like I hope that still puts money toward my like same career.
Yeah, that's one thing.
So
that I
we'll
was-
check.
What do you think the ultimate contract would be as a mower?
I mean,
Neyland Stadium.
yeah, stadiums,
Okay,
baseball. I actually wanted to when I was a kid. I wanted to be a groundskeeper for like 5 minutes.
Neyland Stadium or Augusta?
Oh well, Augusta.
Augusta.
I mean,
Yeah.
They spray paint the grass though,
that's fine.
I think everybody does that at some point.
but they lay it on pretty thick at the Masters.
Well, it looks fucking great over HD. So
It does. The green is spectacular, and I think that they pipe in the bird noise too. I think those are sometimes fake birds.
it might be conspiratorial.
I don't know.
I'm with you with the grass, but the
Listen.
birds. I'm gonna need to see some evidence. For that,
Listen,
man.
do me a favor. You're gonna watch the Masters. Really
Absolutely.
listen to those birds, and tell me that those aren't piped in from somewhere.
Okay.
Do they have snow removal simulator? I saw someone asking if they had that.
Sure they
that
do.
would be insane.
That would be fun. I haven't seen it.
Mm,
Next is pressure washing. Pressure
Yeah.
washing's next.
I like that.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves, Avery.
We still got a lot of grass to
We
cut.
do. We do. Road to Toro.
It just keeps growing.
But think about it. With climate change, Big T, the snow removal simulator, that's going to be a bigger and bigger business.
Yeah.
I do have to text BC if he's available.
Oh God.
Wait, he needs to just start fitting this into his Thursday night itinerary because
I'll text him right now.
He's free.
he makes the stream.
He's
Dad
free.
dog.
I texted him last week to see if he'll go on the stream. He's like, I'm a bachelor this week. Home alone. He's like, I'll be on there, of course.
No, so basically what happened was I was with my mother on a little bit of a vacation, and the guys were all talking like, oh, stream starting. I was at dinner, but I was like, oh, in my head, let me text my dad. I'm with my mom. He's free. I text him. I didn't even text him, and he was already in the stream.
Oh, we already had him.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't gotta worry about that.
I click on the stream. My dad's already freaking in there.
Yeah,
He
no, we
texted
got
us.
him.
She's like, you can get my dad if you want. It's like, oh, don't worry. He's already in.
You know how
Yeah.
much I love this guy? One of y'all tweeted when Coley came on that we have a special guest. Guess who it is? And a bunch of people,
1,000 of you said
a
my
bunch
dad.
of people said him, and he retweeted every single one of them, and it's not even him. Like he's not the one on it, and he retweeted all the ones that said
No,
him.
he didn't.
Yeah, no, he rocks.
I love it.
Yeah, no. Oh God. But yeah, so now he doesn't. The middleman has been cut out. I am no longer a integral piece of his relationship to you guys.
He's like our Ben Mentz, the king,
Yeah.
the king of Ohio.
He is the king of Northeast Ohio. Or now it's like he's technically in Southeast Ohio or
Careful.
Northwest Ohio.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Voicemails.
Yeah. Anyways,
Not East Palestine, though.
no.
No.
But shout out for them.
Hey, this is Josh from Brooklyn. I just wanted to call, congratulate you guys on 100 episodes. It's been quite a ride. Been a fan since day one. You guys have supplied me with really endless hours of entertainment, laughs, information, great stuff. Was wondering if you guys had like a funniest memory from the first 100 episodes. Occasionally I'll go back and I'll listen to some older episodes if I'm out of podcast content. And for the most part, the episodes are evergreen. You can listen to them at any time. There's obviously some topical things in each episode. But the first thing that comes to mind for me for funniest moment in the first 100 episodes was in the Mother Teresa episode where we all learned about fact-checking in real time when Billy had shown a picture of Mother Teresa with Anthony Fauci. That was just so fucking funny. And so I was wondering what sticks out for you guys. Love you all. You're all beautiful. You're all handsome. And here's to the next 100 episodes. Have a great one, guys.
That's a nice voicemail. Thank you.
That guy sounded so fucking genuine. What's his name? Damn, y'all already forgot his name. Shout out to you, man.
Mark.
That shit's
Mark.
Mark. That shit sounded very heartfelt, and I appreciate it, Mark.
Yeah, the Fauci picture with Mother Teresa was an all-time Billy
funny.
moment for sure.
That shit was funny though.
I like
Go ahead.
the Epstein episode with TrueAnon when they were in studio. I thought it was a good combination of funny and actually informative. Talking to people that have like lived and breathed this stuff for the last 5 years. So shout out Brace and Liz for coming in. We got to get that back on at some point.
Yeah.
But
I think I think one of my one of the funnier moments I can remember was when we was roasting Billy about his waltz downtown as a 9-year-old, and he was buying movie tickets and shit. That shit was hilarious, dog. That shit was a funny moment for me.
Mm-hmm. Big T, you have any?
I'm scrolling through episodes right now, just trying to see if anything comes to mind. When you forget so much, like there's been. I mean, my favorite thing I've ever said on this show was completely overshadowed because it came 10 seconds after Arian said the NFL scripted, and that's all anybody cared about. And I had a joke just teed up. I was like, "This is so funny," and I think it was, but like nobody cared.
It was really funny.
So I disagree. I think that joke at the end of it, when you're like your career went downhill when you started becoming an atheist, that made the clip. That was the perfect ending to that clip. It
added so much more fuel to the fire because it gave me more to banter off of, and I didn't break character. So it was like a very because it's almost like it made you look like you was asking the tough questions, right?
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, this is actually what happened. And so I think it compounded it that much more.
The first 50 quote tweets on the tweet were like, "Who's the dude at the end that cooked him?" And then the next 25,000 didn't mention it. I will say, I do have. I think it's not one particular moment. It's an era, but when we were all pretending to read a book and nobody was, that was funny. I mean, there's obviously hundreds that I'm not remembering off the top of my head, but we've been doing this shit a long time.
It's not part of the podcast, but the video for the science fair.
Science fair was really good.
That was fire.
Where Jersey Jerry
lit 100.
was like, "Watch as I light this. I'm gonna light the 100 bill on fire, and it's not gonna catch fire." And then the bill just went up in flames.
Committed a crime.
And then he's like, "Sorry."
But didn't have any kind of like scientific hypothesis. It was just like, I'm gonna light this on fire.
Or Mincy's How to Grow the Game.
Yeah.
How to Grow a Game.
Yeah.
Our trip to Tennessee was my favorite.
Oh yeah,
That was a good
By
time.
far.
That was a good time.
We need to run that back.
yeah.
Good team building.
The episode where Big T was talking about not ready, like tennis or Nashville is not ready. I don't think I've laughed harder.
That was a good episode.
Billy, Big T, just going at it
Oh yeah.
all time. That was like rivalry of the century.
Yeah, when they were talking about who would last longer in a survival situation. And then when Billy deleted the entire episode.
I was just going to say that too.
When he deleted the video and then denied that he deleted the video. And then he said, well, yeah, I deleted it, but it was because that button shouldn't have been there.
That is probably number one. We should have thought of that earlier.
And then he just like lashed out at everybody and he started blaming me for it. And I just wanted nothing more than for Billy to shut up because every word that he said just made me madder and madder and madder at him. And he just kept making it worse for himself.
I took a picture of you. I'm trying to find it right now. I'm sending it to the group.
Is it him go like this? Like,
yes, your face is a mix of like you're laughing, but you're so mad and you can't believe what he's saying.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic picture.
This is my favorite picture.
Like you're like, I can't believe he just keeps talking, but it's so funny.
Yeah, like I want him to shut up, but it's so funny that he's not shutting up.
Yeah.
And he's making it so much worse.
I forgot about that whole shit, though.
That face is what I made when he started coming at me and like making it my fault and my problem. I couldn't believe that he had flipped that around so quickly.
There was a small
There's never
part
been a
of
more
me-
cut and dry scenario in the history of the world than Billy pressing a button that deleted something and then it's my fault that he did it.
I'm very glad that we were able to recover it, and thank you to the people who were able to make that happen. But I think it's just because I love chaos. There was a small part of me that hoped it was gone just because that would have been so much funnier.
Yeah.
I was so mad. Oh, I was so mad.
That was hilarious. Our Billy, huh?
The Disney episode always comes to mind. I really remember laughing a lot during the Disney episode.
You know what I thought was funny too? I don't know if it was the same episode. It was around the same time, I think, where we were talking about how to make Putin chill out. And then Coley started to get us down this road about creating a cartoon character, the anti-war dolphin.
Silvio E. Dolphin.
Yeah, Silvio E. Dolphin.
He was Italian.
Yeah.
I remember that shit.
Stop at the war.
Oh man.
Or when
One of my favorite episodes is when Hendon and Tyler were on, and you said Hendon looked like Anthony Mackie,
Oh shit.
That was good.
and he was so mad. He was so
Wait,
pissed
He
off.
was acting like he ain't heard that shit, but I know somebody has had to say that shit before.
Yeah, you didn't know his name was Anthony Mackie.
Yeah.
You just showed the picture on the screen, and he was so pissed.
also not
Oh my gosh.
podcast related, but when Tennessee beat Bama this year, and I saw Big Tia down the hatch later that evening.
It was goated.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, the Tennessee cigar smoking video
Yeah.
where he made that
That
sound.
whole day.
It sounded like it was a trap beat.
Yeah,
And then
Oh,
it
I
was.
made it into one.
Yeah.
yeah, that
Yeah.
was so good.
That shit is fire. To this, that beat gold, dog.
Yeah.
It's good. The video's good too.
Facts.
Oh God.
All right.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Voicemails?
good ones.
Good
Yeah.
Good voicemail. Good
Great
voicemail.
Yeah. Nice walk down memory lane.
Hey, Avery. This is Joe. Thanks for calling me handsome. Not going to lie, I fucked up my last voicemail. But my question was for PFT. I did a little Reddit investigating and
Oh.
saw he posted on the Quitting Zin subreddit. That's something that hits me home deeply and I'm personally interested in. So I was just curious how PFT's Quitting Zin journey has gone and if he has any tips for the rest of us out there. I appreciate it. Love you all.
Good question. I did post on the Quitting Zen subreddit. That was like a spur of the moment thing. I just wanted to I was so angry and I wanted to just type somewhere on the internet.
What'd you say on it?
I just said this sucks. Why am I doing this? That's basically it. So it went really well. I quit. It was actually the day after Arian and I went to Lake Charles with Hard Factor Mark, where we were at the casino. I didn't pack enough Zen with me to last me the entire trip, so I ran out. And then by the time I got back to New York, I'd been 2.5 days with no Zen, and it sucked. But I was like, I might as well ride this out. So I did quit Zen all throughout football season, and we'll put it at that. I quit Zen for the entirety of football season, and it's not easy. That shit, it's got its hooks. It gets its hooks, but it is
That's
possible to do.
That's that nicotine shit everybody was throwing on stage at the live show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
A guy actually came up to me. This is funny. We were doing a commercial shoot. I can't say who it's for, but I was there earlier today, and I was standing outside a restaurant in Manhattan, and this guy came up to me, and it was 35 degrees outside, and he was wearing a T-shirt and shorts, and he just came up to me, just handed me a tin of Zen. He goes, "Here you go, man. Good to see you again." I was like, "Thank you," and then he just walked away. It was a great interaction.
Yeah, man. Macrodosians
I-
are definitely a really good group of fan base, man.
Yep.
Every interaction I've had with them has just been awesome, man. So shout out to y'all.
Want to do one more?
Yep.
Played
Yeah,
pickup the other
Ben,
day with the guy who was at the live show.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How'd you do?
A word?
I was okay.
Hey y'all, it's Tyson from Nashville. I'm listening to y'all's Ribs on a Plane conversation before, and I'm not going to lie to you, at 8 a.m. one time I did have a barbecue sandwich from the Nashville airport. It was absolutely delicious. I would absolutely do it again. I've also thrown up in countless airports before due to being wildly hungover and such. But my question is, what is the most egregious thing or the most absolutely vile, disgusting thing that y'all have done in an airport? Thanks.
The grossest thing we've done in an airport. I've thrown up in an airport before. That's no fun.
I've taken a pretty drastic opposite end of what you've done in an airport.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember where it was. I mean, likely Nashville or here, but it was bad.
I don't think I've ever done anything, man, because I'm not really a public boo-booer. That ain't really my style.
It wasn't a choice.
Yeah, no, I ain't knocking you. I just, if I got a choice, I didn't have a choice when we went to the Ranger game the other with Avery. I couldn't hold it. I had the BGs, and then he was like, "This isn't a regular public bathroom." The joint he got us in, and so I went, and the bathrooms were exquisite. So I was very happy about that. But public bathrooms I usually try to avoid. So I don't think I've ever done anything in a airport though.
As far as disgusting things go, I like to think of myself as being a pretty good airport citizen. I stay out of the way. I don't line up before my group is called. Fuck those people. I know there are a lot of people out there like that just go to the front and stand. I hate those, but you can't figure out if it's time for your group to board, if this person's in line in front of you. Those people should be arrested.
It only makes sense on Southwest. All other airlines that I don't know about, like Spirit, maybe I've never rode Spirit, but like Southwest makes sense because it's like kind of first come first serve type of deal. But everybody else, like, yo, the plane is not leaving without you, fam. Just sit down and chill, and it will cause less traffic. Just relax.
Yep.
I'm a stand guy.
You stand right by the gate.
Oh,
I
wow.
mean, far enough back that anyone that's ahead of me can go clearly. But a group generally forms, and I want to be at the front of that group.
But so
Right.
are you the person that stands next to the gate and people start lining up behind you because they think you're in line?
Yeah.
I hate you.
Yeah.
That's fucking bullshit.
Well, whenever my group gets called, I want to be the first in the group.
Yeah, but your group's not called yet, and now I'm in the group that's supposed to be boarding, and I'm stuck waiting behind Big T because I think that he's in line.
I'm shocked you're not in first class.
Well, it doesn't happen that much anymore. But at one point, I was very upset about that. I don't really fly first class that much, just sometimes.
I want to be on the plane as soon as possible.
It's-
Well, now
You're going to the same place.
Overhead space is a war now.
Okay.
That's true.
I
Yeah, that
mean,
is true.
an absolute war. I don't know why they keep making planes that don't have enough overhead space, but they do, and it's crazy.
It's gotten to a bad place. I agree with
And
you.
I am
on that.
not
do agree
checking.
with that.
I'm not checking my bag.
And you know what the worst is? You get on a plane and the only overhead space that's available is located behind your seat.
Mhm.
And then you have to put your bag up there. And good luck being a salmon swimming upstream after the plane lands and trying to get back to your bag before the entire rest of the plane is empty.
Happened to me recently. I was on the first row, and I had to put my bag like 2 behind me, and then they won't let you put your backpack because there's not a seat in front of you. You can't put it in front of you.
Right.
You have to put that up too, so I had to put that like 3 rows behind there.
And then you just don't get off the plane
Oh,
until
it was
the very end.
it was hell on earth.
And see, you gotta, in those situations, you've gotta be unapologetic. When the boom comes on and everybody stands up, hey yo, hey, can you that one? I need that. Can you right there, the gray one? You gotta just don't move. Be like, hey, I need my bag. I need my bag. Like this is what you gotta be unapologetic. And in that I am so like empathetic to shit like that. Because it's like I've been in both situations, and so when people are like, hey, I see them looking, I'm like, yo, which one is it? You know what I mean? And so for those people out there listening, be nice, dog. You've all been in that situation before. Help people get their bags, man. We all bags. We all got bags. We all trying to go. Like just be rational, man. Be rational. We can all smoothly go off the plane, or I'm gonna wait till I get my shit. I am an asshole like that when it comes to that.
It's understandable, especially if you're in a hurry because you're just going to make yourself wait for an additional probably 20 minutes to get back and like move back 2 rows to get your bag.
Yeah.
You know what?
And then people see you, you know what I'm saying? They're just rushing by them like, dog, give me the bag, bro. It's wild.
You know what I'm really into? I now, if there's a woman
Feet.
that is in, no, definitely not feet. If there's a woman that is sitting nearby or an older person, what I'll do is I'll just offer to everybody if they need help putting their bag up in the overhead compartment. And then I feel like, okay, I'm a good person and that's my good deed that I have to do for like the next year. If I help one person put their bag up. But what I also do is I'm a dick about it sometimes. I did this the last time that me and Big Cat flew. We went to Arizona. We were actually sitting next to each other. It was very cute on the flight. And we're putting our stuff in the overhead compartment. And I'm like, Big Cat, you need a hand with that bag? And I reached for his bag to like grab it up and put it up for him. And he was like, no, I got it. No, I got it. But it's such a nice emasculating thing to do to somebody. If you take another man's bag and you put it up for him.
That's funny. That's funny. You take the power from
Yep.
with you.
All right. Does that do it for voicemails today?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for listening. Thanks for everyone that's tuned in at any point over the last 100 episodes. Like that guy said, Mark said, here's to 100 more. It's been fun, but
I got one more thing. I've
We're
been
not
waiting to give this away. I think this is the right time. So if you buy a 100th episode 1-day exclusive shirt, only out today, and you send me the receipt, you'll be entered to win this. Francis drew this during our Epstein episode. Francis, the guy who designed our logo. So I'm going to give this away. I'm going to have everyone sign it. Arian's coming here in March, so I'm going to get the whole podcast to sign it.
It's the courtroom sketch that's done of us and Brace and Liz during the Epstein episode.
So we're going to give this away.
Okay. I love it. Good call. So everybody, if you buy the limited edition Macrodosing shirt, make sure to send Avery a copy of that receipt so he can put you into the drawing for it.
Yep.
All right. Well, love you guys, and we will see you next week.